Imagine this moment is the beginning of something very special. You're standing at a crossroads where life is giving you the opportunity to become someone you might never have imagined. If you're feeling a little lost right now, or like you're always doing the same thing, that's no coincidence. It means you're ready to move on and shape your life in a whole new way. Sometimes we feel a subtle tug deep within us, a desire for more. Something inside us tells us that there's a more fulfilling life out there waiting for us. And the amazing thing is, everything you need to create that life is already within you. This inner strength has always been there, sometimes quietly, sometimes more clearly noticeable. Imagine if you could begin to harness this very power in the next few weeks. What if you hardly recognize yourself in a few months? Not because you have to bend, but because you're finally unfolding the way your heart has long intended. Now is the right moment to break free from the limits you've set for yourself. Leave the old, made-up stories behind, the ones that held you back and convinced you weren't strong enough. Instead, you can exchange those thoughts for strength, courage, and inner steadfastness. This kind of transformation isn't a new secret, it's based on ancient wisdom. The philosophy of the Stoics, which has evolved over many generations, shows us how we can develop deep trust in ourselves. It helps us stay calm, even when things get difficult, and see clearly what really matters. And the amazing thing about it, you don't need a whole lifetime to develop this strength. After just a few months, you can notice how things are changing, how setbacks no longer derail you, how doubts subside, and how the opinions of others no longer determine your happiness. And this is where it gets really exciting. Change doesn't have to be huge or scary. You go step by step, a little further each day. It's like climbing a long, beautiful hill, not in one leap, but slowly, with perseverance. At the end, you see a view you may not have even imagined. Stoic thinkers taught us long ago that change begins in the mind, not outside, not in the body, but in your thoughts. So when you set out, direct your attention where it will make the biggest difference, inward. Over time, you will build an inner strength that is like a solid house, one that will stand firm even in the strongest storms, that remains calm when everything around you is in disarray, and that is not rattled by small distractions. Your first step is very simple. Let go of what is no longer good for you. Ask yourself, how often have you been annoyed or worried about things you have no control over? That can be really exhausting, right? The Stoics recognized long ago that we often suffer because we try to control things that are beyond our control, like what others think of us, sudden changes, or small everyday problems. True freedom begins exactly where we stop trying to control these things. If you can do that, you will feel a new calm strength within you. You can then focus your energy on what you can truly influence, your thoughts, your behavior, and your decisions. As soon as you let go of unnecessary worries, you will feel lighter inside. And you make room for new things. Because when your head and heart are free, many new wonderful possibilities can enter your life. Every morning you have the opportunity to wake up with a clear goal. You walk your path with confidence and step by step build the life you truly desire. In doing so, you slowly grow into the person you have always wanted to be deep down. Along the way, you also learn to be patient and stay strong, especially when things get difficult. Patience doesn't just mean waiting. It means waiting with trust. It means believing that things will change, even if you don't see the result yet. Imagine planting a seed in the ground. You don't see the flower immediately, but you know it's coming. It's the same with your small steps. They will one day bring about big changes. Something else that can give you a lot of strength is gratitude. Perhaps you haven't considered how powerful this feeling can be. But if you consciously notice what is beautiful every day, even if it's just a small thing, your view of the world changes. Suddenly, problems seem smaller, and small successes feel like big victories. Gratitude calms your heart and helps you deal better with difficult situations. When you are grateful, you strengthen yourself, quietly but very effectively. Let's also talk about doing, about the importance of truly taking action. The Stoics we're talking about didn't just think. They took action. They believed in doing their best every day, even if it was just a small step. You can do the same. When you realize that every choice you make, whether it's about how you eat or who you talk to, is part of your journey, everything takes on a deeper meaning. It's like painting a big picture. Every brushstroke counts. And one more important thing, it's not just about reaching the goal. Sometimes the journey itself is just as valuable. When you begin to appreciate the effort and commitment itself, you'll realize you're on the right path. True satisfaction doesn't come from achieving something, but from putting in the effort. When you learn to find joy in the journey, you become stronger and stay true to yourself, even when things aren't easy. This strength becomes your protection. It prevents you from letting doubts or distractions hold you back. The wonderful thing about this path is, when you change, those around you change a little bit too. Others might not notice it right away, but when you become calmer, think more clearly and are at peace with yourself, you'll notice it. The people around you might be drawn to your development. Perhaps they'll begin to explore new paths themselves, because you're showing them that change is possible. So you're not just following your own path, you're becoming a role model who touches and encourages others. And when things get difficult, and they definitely will, you'll be prepared. You'll have plenty of wise thoughts in your head that will help you keep your spirits up. One of the most important ideas you'll learn is, life is precious and not endless. That sounds serious at first, but it's also a gift. It reminds us that every day counts. When you understand that, moments become more precious. You make decisions with more feeling, with more meaning, and you'll realize how much every little bit of time is worth and how special it is to make the most of it. So take this as a friendly invitation. You're not just setting out to improve yourself. You're entering a new world, a world where you can live out what has always been there deep within you, but perhaps hasn't found a place until now. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. It's already here, right now. Now is the right time to discover your inner strength, to courageously take new steps, and to create something you can be proud of with all your heart. Imagine looking back in a few months and realizing, wow, I did that. You'll see how far you've come, yes, and that every step, even the small ones, was truly worth it. Because this could be the beginning of something big, something that changes the way you think, the way you act, and the way you see the world. And now comes a particularly important part, stepping out of the comfortable, familiar zone that often feels so safe, like a warm blanket or a favorite spot. But that's precisely where not much new often happens. This place feels familiar, yes, but it also holds you back. It's a bit like sitting in a cozy room and forgetting that a whole garden full of surprises awaits outside. We should be clear. The comfort zone gives us the feeling that everything is under control, but it can also be like an invisible fence. You don't take any major risks, but you also don't take any major opportunities. Real growth, new experiences, and exciting discoveries happen outside of this fence, where things are sometimes a bit uncertain, but all the more vibrant for it. The Stoics, wise men of the past, have long known this. They believed that those who want to get to know themselves and become stronger sometimes have to do things that aren't entirely comfortable. Only when we have the courage to step outside our familiar boundaries can we see how much strength truly lies within us. For them, courage wasn't just bravery. It was a kind of inner muscle that helps us cope with difficulties and lead a fulfilling life. Let's take a look together at how it all works. Every time you dare to step even a little bit outside the comfort zone, you grow a little, internally and mentally. Our minds love comfort, but every time you dare to try something new or unfamiliar, you strengthen your inner strength. The ancient thinkers, the Stoics, believed that by consciously choosing small challenges, you learn to remain calm and clear, even when things get difficult. Think of it like a workout for your mind. If you regularly set yourself small, challenging tasks, your mind becomes braver and more flexible. But how do you best begin to explore new paths? The first step is to become aware. Ask yourself, where in your life does everything feel very comfortable but also a bit boring? Perhaps you always do the same things at school or at home, or you're afraid to try new hobbies. This is where your so-called comfort zone begins, a place that may be familiar but can hold you back from growth. And this is exactly where you can start. You don't need to do anything huge. Small steps are enough. For example, if you prefer to be quiet in groups, try speaking up in a small group. Or if you're hesitant about meeting new people, start with a friendly hello or a short conversation. Tiny changes like these make a big difference over time, because every step tells your brain, I can do this. And with each attempt, what was initially unfamiliar becomes a little easier. One exercise the Stoics often practiced was called voluntary renunciation. It sounds complicated, but it simply means consciously subjecting yourself to something a little uncomfortable. They wanted to learn to get by with less, so they could remain calm even in difficult times. This doesn't mean torturing yourself, but rather, for example, consciously dressing simply, giving up sweets, or sleeping on the floor one night instead of in bed. Sounds strange, maybe, but it shows you don't always need the best of the best to feel good, and that makes you strong. Such small exercises help you cope not only with simple things, but also with the surprises that life sometimes throws at you. When something unexpected happens suddenly, you'll notice your mind is ready, because you've practiced not being frightened by the unfamiliar, but remaining curious. This is precisely where the wisdom of the Stoics becomes especially valuable. Because when you understand that discomfort is not your enemy, but an opportunity to learn and grow, you'll walk through life more courageously. You'll no longer run away from difficult things. You'll face them head on. And that's when your true strength reveals itself. If you dare to try something new, something that perhaps requires a little bit of courage, you'll notice your self-confidence slowly growing. Every time you go beyond what you usually do, you prove to yourself, I can do more than I thought. Courage doesn't come from avoiding difficult things, but from facing them. And when you feel that you've made it through unpleasant moments, something very special happens within you. You begin to truly believe in yourself. You feel that you can accomplish much of what life brings you. This confidence is like strong ground on which your thoughts remain, even when the going gets stormy. Another important thing the Stoics show us is that it's not always just the result that counts. Sometimes worries hold us back, the fear of making a mistake or not being good enough. But the Stoics said, it's much more important that you even try. If you dare to do something new, it means you're brave, even if not everything goes perfectly. If you try hard and give it your best, then that's a win, no matter what the end result is. Because courage counts more than success. This way of thinking can change everything. You stop letting minor setbacks discourage you. Instead, you begin to realize that every experience teaches you something, even if it doesn't go as planned. Every attempt takes you a step further. And that's exactly what makes you strong and independent. You learn not to let failures hold you back, but to use them to grow from them. Something surprising happens when you step outside your comfort zone more often. You realize that what you were afraid of is often not so bad after all. Sometimes our minds imagine dire scenarios, all the things that could go wrong or how embarrassing something would be. But the truth is, things rarely turn out as badly as we imagine. And when you challenge yourself again and again, you realize, I can do this. I'm much stronger than I thought. This not only gives you courage, it also makes you more flexible and open to new things. So why not take a small step today and try something that lies outside your usual limits? When you face your fears, they begin to lose their power. You realize that you can keep going even in moments that aren't perfect. You remain yourself, perhaps even stronger than before. This is exactly what the Stoics meant when they said, live in harmony with what is. Don't expect everything to be easy, but don't be overly afraid of difficulties either. You'll see many worries only arise in your head and disappear when you face them. And remember, every time you dare, you don't just grow a little, you reshape yourself. You become someone who doesn't run away from uncertainty but remains curious. It takes courage at first, but soon it will become completely normal for you. What once frightened you will seem smaller. That's real change. You think differently, you feel stronger. And you begin to see new paths where there were previously only obstacles. And with every step, your confidence grows that you can accomplish anything that comes your way. The comfort zone is like a cozy nest, warm, familiar, and comfortable. But sometimes this very coziness can hold us back from experiencing new things and growing. If you find the courage to step a little beyond this familiar nest, you'll suddenly discover things about yourself that you didn't know before. You might find that you're stronger, braver, or more creative than you ever thought possible. Every step out of the familiar becomes a building block on the path to learning more about yourself and building your self-confidence. Even if it feels a little strange or unsafe at first, this path is very worth it. Because it sets you on a life full of adventure, learning, and development, something that would never have been possible in the safety of your nest. With every day that you dare to do something a little bit differently than usual, you come a little closer to your true self. You won't suddenly become a completely different person, but you will slowly let go of what has held you back. At some point, you will realize the zone in which you felt so safe was actually like an invisible grid that made you small. But once you're outside, you realize how much space there is out there. Space for new ideas, dreams, and possibilities. You will then understand many of the limits you felt weren't real at all. They only existed in your head, and you are capable of so much more than you thought. Once you've taken this step and left your familiar surroundings, you can look at things from a new perspective, even those that previously annoyed or saddened you. Sometimes frustration is a sign that something isn't quite right. This feeling can be like a motor. It's telling you that you can change something. But if you just complain about it and do nothing, you'll just go around in circles. Imagine if every time you complain, you could instead develop an idea how to improve the situation. The Stoics believed that true strength comes from taking responsibility and not getting stuck in complaining. When you decide to take action, you'll realize that frustration is not your enemy. It's a signpost for change. When you stop getting angry about things you can't change and instead ask yourself, what can I do? You open new doors. Many complaints arise from feeling powerless or unseen. But when you use that energy to do something, you realize you have the power to make a difference. The Stoics said, we can't control what happens, but we can always choose how we react. So when you choose to act calmly and clearly, instead of just getting angry, you create a life that feels powerful and meaningful. You take control and transform problems into opportunities. The first step to turning anger into something good is to ask yourself, what's behind it? Every time you complain about something, there's a reason, something you want but don't have. For example, if you often feel like no one praises you, ask yourself, why is recognition important to me? Maybe you want to be seen or to feel that your effort counts. Once you recognize this, you can consider what you can do to change that. This way, an unpleasant feeling becomes a goal you can work toward. This kind of reflection helps you transform your grief into plans, into courage, into movement. The next important step is to take responsibility for yourself. When you complain a lot, you often act as if other people or life itself are to blame for everything. Then you believe there's nothing you can do, and that makes you sad or angry. But when you say, I'll see what I can do myself, you get back the strength to change something. That doesn't mean you're to blame for everything. It just means you can decide how you deal with a difficult situation. If you have an argument with someone, for example, think about how you can make the conversation more friendly, build trust, or better protect yourself. That way, you'll make progress, whereas simply complaining usually gets you nowhere. And the best part, you'll realize you're not a victim of the situation, but someone who can make a difference yourself. Taking responsibility also means recognizing what you can influence and what you can't. Sometimes we wish other people would behave differently or that the past could be changed, but that's not in our hands. The Stoics, wise ancients, said, the only thing we can truly control is our own thoughts, feelings, and actions. When you stop worrying about things you can't change and focus your energy on what is within your control, you become calmer and at the same time much stronger. You realize that you can very well do something, even if the world around you isn't perfect right now. But that doesn't mean you have to hide your feelings. It's perfectly fine to be angry or disappointed sometimes. What matters is how you deal with those feelings. You can use them to sense where something is wrong and then consider what you can do with it. Imagine you're unhappy because you don't feel fit. Instead of saying, I don't have time for exercise, you could tell yourself, I'll do 5 minutes of exercise every day. Small steps often go a long way than big goals, and every time you take a step like that, you feel stronger and automatically want to keep going. The Stoics also believe that action often achieves more than words. It's easy to complain about things, But when you start looking for solutions, you suddenly feel more meaning and joy. Action helps combat doubts and shows you paths you may not have seen before. Your mind becomes clearer, and you begin to focus on what you can improve instead of what bothers you. If, for example, you feel you're being treated unfairly at school, you can consider how to better communicate with the teacher, how to present your assignments more confidently, or how to protect yourself from feeling small. This gives you strength, and you realize, I can make a difference. When you take responsibility for your actions, your self-esteem grows. Every time you decide to take action, instead of just complaining, your belief that you can overcome life's challenges grows. With every decision, you build your confidence in yourself. Even if things don't always go according to plan, you know you've done something instead of just being upset about it. This strength becomes a part of you and helps you remain calm and courageous, even in difficult moments. This new path also gives you more control over your life. You'll go from being someone who always just reacts to someone who actively shapes their own life. This change also has a positive impact on your relationships with others. When you stop complaining and start looking for solutions, others see you as someone who solves problems. They notice that you're not just talking about the difficulties, but also working on solutions. This makes everything feel much more like a team effort, and you can build better connections with the people around you. It's not about ignoring your own wants or needs. Rather, it's about expressing them in a way that makes those around you more likely to help you. When you decide to take action, you're also committing to staying strong. Life rarely goes exactly as planned, and there are always frustrations. But true strength isn't about trying to avoid frustrations, it's about learning to deal with them. When you encounter an obstacle, you don't see it as something that will stop you, but as an opportunity to rethink and adapt. Maybe a project doesn't go the way you planned. Then you consider what you can do better next time. This mindset not only makes you stronger, but also more flexible. In a world that's constantly changing, this flexibility helps you get back up and keep going. Taking responsibility is the key to freedom in Stoicism. When you stop complaining and instead act, you don't wait for everything to change. You become active yourself. And when you change this behavior, something exciting happens. The more you become responsible for your own experiences, the less external circumstances have power over you. You become the author of your own story and make decisions that suit you, instead of being guided by others or external circumstances. This freedom helps you live a life that suits you and orient yourself according to your own values. This new approach, where action counts more than complaining, doesn't demand perfection. It's about taking small steps and constantly learning. If you're unhappy with your financial situation, consider what you can do to make a change, even if it's just small things. Maybe you make a plan to better manage your money, or consider how you can earn a little more. Every step brings you a little closer to your goal. Over time, all these small steps will add up to something bigger, and you'll realize you have more control over your life than you might have thought. This path to greater responsibility also helps you become more grateful. When you take action, you begin to appreciate the journey instead of always focusing on what's missing. You stop stressing about what's wrong and focus on what you can improve. This doesn't mean there are no more problems, but it does mean you now have the strength to deal with them. Every difficulty becomes an opportunity to learn and grow. This way, you not only become more resilient, but also enjoy life much more because you have the strength to trust yourself and continually evolve. The step from complaining to action is a powerful shift that can transform your life. Instead of thinking that life just happens to you, you can recognize that you are the creator of your own life. With every decision you make to act instead of complain, you come closer to living your dream life, a life characterized by strength, perseverance, and determination. That in itself is a great success, a success that no amount of complaining could ever bring. This active attitude gives you the strength to take on challenges and continually develop, so that you live a fulfilling and purposeful life. Once you've moved from a complaining mindset to a taking action mindset, there's another important step to consider: letting go of expectations. These expectations often secretly influence our thoughts and feelings and can frustrate, disappoint, or even anger us. They cause us to cling to something that isn't the way we want it to be. Letting go of these expectations frees us from this tension and helps us face life with serenity and clarity. When we let go of these inner limitations, we can experience life more authentically and fully. When we cling to our expectations, we often find ourselves trapped in a cycle of disappointment. We expect things to happen a certain way or people to behave exactly as we wish. Any deviation from these ideas can rob us of our peace. The Stoics knew that it's not the events themselves that harm us, but our fixation on these fixed ideas. When we learn to let go of expectations, we create space to accept the moment as it is, unburdened by disappointment or unmet expectations. This acceptance helps us live in the here and now and find peace in what is, rather than constantly worrying about what we aren't getting. Letting go of expectations gives us the freedom to enjoy the moment. Think about how often expectations cause us to focus on a future that hasn't yet arrived, or on a past that didn't turn out the way we wanted. In both cases, we lose the present moment and can't truly experience the life that is unfolding. Accepting reality as it is becomes a form of liberation. It's a way to shed all the mental baggage that prevents us from enjoying life. It doesn't mean we have to give up on our goals or settle for less. Rather, it's about seeing clearly what is real and letting reality guide us instead of constantly fighting against it. This clarity brings a sense of peace and helps us make wise choices. An important step in letting go of expectations is understanding where they come from. Many expectations are shaped by the people around us, by society, or even by our own fears. Maybe we think we have to achieve a certain level of success by a certain age, or we expect others to always do what we want them to do. These expectations aren't always obvious, but they influence how we react to things. When we recognize where these expectations come from, we can begin to question them. Often they don't help us. Instead, they only reinforce our fears and negative thoughts. When we understand that many of these expectations don't align with our true values, we can let them go and live our lives more the way we truly want to. A helpful way to let go of expectations is to practice acceptance. The Stoics, a group of philosophers, said that acceptance doesn't mean settling for anything, but rather accepting life as it is, without imposing our desires on it. When we accept a situation, we are better able to handle it and remain calm. When a friend disappoints us, instead of getting angry at their actions, we can focus on how we respond and what we learn from it. Acceptance doesn't mean being passive. On the contrary, it gives us the opportunity to act from a peaceful and clear mind. This perspective helps us respond calmly and thoughtfully in difficult moments. Another benefit of letting go of expectations is that it helps us become more resilient. Expectations often want everything to go our way, but life is never that predictable. When we let go of our expectations, we can become more flexible and adaptable. It's about living in the moment and accepting things as they come, without clinging to specific outcomes. When things don't go according to plan, we can react with an open mind and make the best of it. This skill is especially helpful during difficult times, as we are less easily discouraged and can handle change better. When we are adaptable, we can face challenges with courage and composure. Letting go of expectations also changes our relationships with others. Many arguments arise from unspoken expectations, how we think others should act, speak, or react. When we let go of these constant preconceptions, we can free ourselves from unnecessary tension. Relationships can then become places of understanding and acceptance rather than control. Instead of expecting a friend or family member to always do what we want, we learn to appreciate them for who they truly are. This creates genuine respect and strengthens the connection. When we don't try to change others, our relationships become more relaxed and meaningful. Letting go of expectations also helps us view setbacks differently. When we cling to a certain outcome, any change in our plans feels like a loss. But when we don't have fixed expectations, we see mistakes and obstacles as part of the learning process rather than as personal failures. The Stoics believed that we can learn the most from mistakes and that there is no true failure as long as we learn from them. When we let go of our expectations, we see every mistake as an opportunity to improve and grow. One of the best things about letting go of expectations is the peace it brings. Expectations often come with worry. We constantly wonder what will happen if something doesn't go as planned, or if others don't fulfill our hopes. These worries can exhaust us. When we let go, however, we free ourselves from those constant what-ifs. We can experience each moment calmly and openly, without constantly worrying about what could go wrong. The difficulties don't disappear, but the added tension is removed, allowing us to approach challenges with a calm heart. Another way to let go of expectations is through gratitude. When we focus on what we already have instead of always searching for something we don't yet have, it becomes easier to lower our expectations. Gratitude helps us live in the here and now and appreciate the positive things in each moment, even if the moment isn't perfect. When we are grateful, we stop looking for happiness only in the future and find it in the present moment. This makes us more content and stronger, allowing us to experience each day with a sense of abundance rather than a feeling of missing something. Accepting reality as it is also helps us see more clearly what's truly important to us. When we let go of the idea of how life should be, we can focus on what truly matters to us without being distracted by false goals or other people's pressure. The Stoics taught that we should live according to our true values, goals that truly fulfill us, not what others expect of us. By letting go of expectations, we can align our lives with these deep values and make choices that truly bring us happiness. One of the greatest benefits of letting go of expectations is the freedom we experience. We often think that by setting expectations, we can gain control over our lives to get what we want. But this control is only an illusion that stresses us out and prevents us from enjoying the moment. When we let go of expectations, we can experience life with an open heart, free from the burden of thoughts about what should happen. This freedom makes us feel lighter and helps us let go of the pressure to make the moment turn out to be something specific. This doesn't mean we have to give up on our goals or dreams. Rather, it's about pursuing them with a certain lightness of touch. We can still work toward important things without getting hung up on specific outcomes. With this flexible mindset, we can pursue our goals with dedication and still remain calm when life takes an unexpected turn. When we let go of the idea that everything has to go exactly according to plan, we can enjoy the journey and find joy in the process, not just the end goal. Letting go of expectations also helps us find inner peace. When we stop constantly wondering how things should be, we can accept reality as it is. This acceptance brings a calm, steady attitude that helps us cope with life's ups and downs without becoming dependent on the outcome. Inner peace isn't about running away from reality. It's about embracing it and understanding that each moment is exactly as it's meant to be. This peace allows us to see life with clear eyes and find joy in the simplicity of the moment, rather than in the complicated expectations we impose on ourselves. Choosing acceptance over constant expectations is a powerful shift. It's a step toward greater resilience, peace, and joy. Expectations may promise us happiness, but often they only lead to disappointment. Acceptance, on the other hand, brings us true contentment that doesn't depend on external events or outcomes. It gives us the freedom to experience life in its full beauty, unburdened by ideas of how it should be. When we adopt this attitude, we don't just have to survive, we can truly thrive because we have the freedom to live without the limitations of expectations. Once you've learned to let go of your expectations, you'll discover a new strength, the ability to rely on yourself. You'll become calm and strong no matter what's happening around you. Self-confidence doesn't mean you have to separate yourself from others. It means creating an inner foundation so stable that you can overcome any difficulty. When you no longer need validation or recognition from others, you'll find a freedom and strength that only comes from trusting in yourself. There's a profound peace in knowing you are enough and capable of supporting yourself. No one from outside can give you this peace. Your self-confidence becomes a sure footing in an often unpredictable world. At its core, self-confidence means believing in your own judgment, thinking about your worth, and knowing that you're ready for whatever life throws your way. This doesn't mean you always have all the answers. but rather that you're confident you can find them when you need them. Often, people seek validation from others to feel worthwhile. But when you begin to find yourself enough, the need for external validation diminishes. Instead, you become calm and secure in your own trust. No longer held back by doubt or the fear of others' opinions, you follow your inner compass and build your life according to your own values and purpose. This confidence will give you a strong sense of security and power. An important step on the path to self-confidence is getting to know yourself better. This means understanding what motivates you, what you're good at, and what values are important to you. When you know what's truly important to you, you become your own compass. This allows you to make decisions that align with who you truly are. This clarity helps you overcome challenges without being influenced by other people's opinions. You can shape your life in a way that suits you without feeling pressure from outside. An important part of self-confidence is taking responsibility for your own life. This means understanding that your happiness and growth depend on you. When you take responsibility, you know you have the power to shape your life instead of waiting for things to change on their own. You become the engine of your own progress. By taking responsibility, you can create the life you want because you are no longer dependent on external circumstances to make you feel good. This responsibility helps you stay strong and adapt when life gets tough. It's an important part of resilience, the ability to persist even in difficult times. Life can be unpredictable, and relying solely on others leaves you vulnerable. However, when you develop your inner strength, you'll be better prepared for any challenges. Resilience doesn't mean never experiencing pain or problems, but rather knowing how to deal with them without giving up. You'll find that every obstacle makes you stronger. Every difficult situation helps you build resilience and create a strong foundation that will sustain you even in stormy times. This inner strength makes you less dependent on external factors that provide you with peace and security. Self-confidence also means believing in your own judgment. Many people doubt themselves because they're afraid of making the wrong decision or disappointing others. But when you develop self-confidence, you stop second-guessing every decision. You begin to believe in your ability to make the right choice, even if you don't know exactly what the outcome will be. This doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes, but you'll learn from them and move on. Every decision, whether it turns out well or badly, helps you grow and builds your confidence in yourself. This confidence in yourself will make you feel like you can forge your own path and are capable of achieving your goals. An important part of becoming self-employed is treating yourself with compassion. Many people are their own worst critics and are quick to blame themselves when they make mistakes or when something doesn't work out right away. But self-employment isn't about being perfect. It's about treating yourself kindly, even when things go wrong. When you have compassion for yourself, you can accept your weaknesses without letting them discourage you. You create a space within yourself that allows you to grow and not dwell on self-criticism. Compassion makes you stronger because you understand that you don't have to be flawless to be good or capable. It's about being willing to learn and evolve. Self-confidence also means letting go of the urge to constantly seek validation from others. While validation from others feels good sometimes, it is often only temporary. True confidence comes from within, when you know that you are enough just as you are. When you stop expecting external validation, you gain a sense of freedom. You can pursue your own goals without being distracted by the opinions of others. This inner validation is a source of confidence that doesn't depend on the approval or disapproval of others. It helps you live authentically and follow your own passions. As you develop more self-reliance, you'll also experience a new sense of independence. Independence doesn't mean cutting yourself off from others. It means being able to take care of yourself, even when you're feeling insecure. This independence allows you to take risks, try new things, and follow your dreams without fear of lacking support. You know you can rely on yourself to adapt and overcome difficult times. This freedom helps you develop fully without feeling alone or unprepared. Your confidence grows, and new opportunities become apparent. Another important aspect of self-reliance is that you learn to solve your own problems. Instead of always waiting for solutions from others, you begin to develop the skills you need to overcome challenges. Solving a problem will make you feel good because you realize you are capable of handling difficult situations. This ability to find solutions gives you a strong sense of self-confidence and makes you strong internally. It's a reminder that you have the ability to overcome obstacles and succeed. Self-confidence also helps you set clear boundaries. When you trust yourself, you'll stop trying to please others, even if it makes you unhappy. Setting boundaries is a sign of self-respect. You begin to protect your time, energy, and resources so you can focus on what's truly important to you. Boundaries help you live a balanced life without constantly having to live up to other people's expectations. When you know your own boundaries, you'll feel less stressed and more in tune with yourself. Another gift of self-reliance is the inner peace you develop. When you no longer make your happiness dependent on circumstances or other people, you can find deep peace within yourself. This peace stays with you even when life gets difficult. You find fulfillment within yourself without having to seek external validation. This peace gives you the strength to remain calm, even in difficult times. It's like a safe place you can always return to whenever you feel overwhelmed or insecure. This peace accompanies you on your journey and helps you calmly overcome life's challenges. As you develop more self-confidence, you'll also better recognize your own worth. You'll understand that your worth doesn't depend on what others think of you, but on what you carry within yourself. This understanding of your worth gives you the strength to live your life with confidence and purpose. You're no longer influenced by external standards or fleeting trends. Instead, you define what success means to you. This strong sense of your own worth gives you a life of honesty and integrity, guided by your own values and dreams. Self-confidence also fosters your willingness to grow. When you trust yourself, you want to develop and learn. This growth mindset helps you see challenges not as problems, but as opportunities to evolve. You're open to new ideas and feedback because you know that every experience helps you grow. This attitude allows you to continually improve and build a lifetime of knowledge and experience. This way, self-employment becomes a journey of constant growth, where you become the best version of yourself step by step. Every small step of progress shows you that you're on the right path. Ultimately, self-employment is a special kind of freedom. It gives you the opportunity to live your life to the fullest without constantly depending on the expectations of others. You can follow your passions, discover new things, and live a life that suits you. This freedom doesn't mean isolating yourself. It means believing in yourself and knowing you are strong and resilient no matter what. When you become your own best friend, you'll realize that you already have everything you need to succeed within you. You just have to unleash it. This inner freedom encourages you to try new things and take risks, knowing you have the strength to overcome any challenge. The inner strength you gain through self-reliance will form the foundation for a life of meaning, peace, and trust. When you trust that you can rely on yourself, you will experience a new kind of freedom. You must learn to detach yourself from certain things, outcomes, or people. Letting go doesn't mean that you don't care about anything, but rather that you no longer cling to what you can't control. When we become too attached to things, it often brings pain. Whether it's a friendship, a possession, or an achievement, the more we tie our happiness to these things, the more power we give them over us. Letting go helps us enjoy life without being controlled by the things we have or don't have. Learning to let go allows you to flow with life and calmly face each moment, regardless of what you do or don't have. This ability brings you inner peace and creates a strong foundation that won't be shaken by life's ups and downs. For the Stoic philosophers, letting go is an active process in which you seek to change your mindset. Instead of thinking that you absolutely need something to be happy, you learn to appreciate life as it is and to be content in the moment. This shift in thinking opens the space for clarity and peace. When you stop trying to control every outcome, you will no longer react with frustration to every twist and turn life throws at you. Instead, you begin to see each moment as a unique experience, one that contributes to your growth regardless of whether it meets your expectations. This is the true path to living in harmony with life's natural changes. A first step on the path to letting go is understanding how holding on to things can bring us suffering. When we tie our happiness to things we cannot control, we open ourselves up to disappointment. A prized possession could be lost, A friendship could change, or a goal could go unachieved. Each attachment can make us feel like our happiness depends on it. But when we realize that our inner peace doesn't depend on these things, we can let go of them. We learn to appreciate what we have without fear of loss. We can receive love without depending on it, and work toward our goals without letting them control us. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. This distinction is very important. Caring comes from love, whereas clinging often comes from fear of loss or failure. When you practice letting go, you free yourself from that fear and allow love, joy, and passion to flow naturally, unconstrained by the need to control. In relationships, letting go means loving someone without needing to own them and allowing them to be themselves without your expectations determining their worth. This kind of love is liberating and respects the other person's individuality, allowing the relationship to grow without the burden of dependency. The ability to let go also helps you find better balance in your life, especially regarding the things you own. In today's world, we're often told that our possessions are how we measure our worth. However, the more we define ourselves by what we have, the more those things can control us. Letting go teaches us to enjoy things without making them a part of our identity. It's about appreciating what we have without clinging to it. This frees us from the constant fear of losing things or needing more and more. Instead of always striving for more, we can find contentment and fulfillment in the simple things. When we no longer attach ourselves to a specific outcome, we open ourselves to all possibilities and can find beauty and meaning in things that would otherwise disappoint us. Letting go teaches us to loosen our expectations and see every experience as an opportunity for growth, rather than simply a means to a certain end. This doesn't mean we should stop setting goals or working toward our dreams. It means we pursue those goals with greater ease and are open to all possible outcomes. This flexibility helps us adapt and face life with openness and strength, without putting pressure on ourselves by striving for a specific outcome. The practice of letting go helps us better understand our feelings. When we hold on to our emotions, they can sometimes overwhelm us, pulling us from one extreme to the other. However, when we let go, we can observe our feelings without letting them control us. Instead of allowing anger, sadness, or excitement to overwhelm us, we learn to see these feelings as temporary. When we simply acknowledge them without identifying with them, we develop inner peace. We remain calm even when our feelings change. This ability makes us stronger. It helps us face problems with a clear head and handle difficult situations without being overwhelmed by our emotions. Letting go gives us the stability we need to live life calmly and serenely. Another important aspect of letting go is not clinging to past experiences. Many people cling to memories, whether they are happy or sad, and allow these memories to influence their present life. Letting go means we can appreciate memories without constantly living in them. When we no longer hold on to the past, we make room for new experiences, free from the burden of what was. It doesn't mean forgetting. It means accepting the past as a part of us without letting it determine our future. By letting go, we allow ourselves to look forward and live in the here and now. Letting go also helps us stop constantly comparing ourselves to others. When we constantly focus on a certain image of success, we often compare ourselves to others and measure our worth by what they have achieved. This often leads to dissatisfaction and a feeling of not being enough. But when we free ourselves from these comparisons, we learn to appreciate our own path. We realize that our life doesn't have to be like someone else's, and that we don't measure our worth by others' successes. This freedom from comparison helps us to be proud of our own path and celebrate our progress without feeling bad when others have achieved something different. In friendships and relationships, letting go helps us maintain healthy relationships. When we cling to certain expectations, we often put unnecessary pressure on others in the hope that they will fulfill our wishes. Letting go means accepting people as they are, without trying to change them. This acceptance creates deeper connections because we don't try to control the people in our lives. Instead, we learn to love others as they are and build relationships based on respect and understanding. Letting go also gives us inner peace. When we stop constantly seeking external things to make us happy, we find a contentment that lies deep within ourselves. This inner peace allows us to enjoy life with ease and without fear of constant change. We stop making our happiness dependent on other people or material things. Instead, we understand that true happiness lies within ourselves. It is a state that doesn't depend on what we own or who we're with. This peace becomes a solid foundation that keeps us stable even in stormy times. Letting go helps us experience life with curiosity. Instead of seeing every event as good or bad, we learn to see every situation as an opportunity to learn something new. When we let go, we remain open to life's surprises and approach challenges with wonder rather than fear. This openness makes us stronger because we no longer cling to certain outcomes, but are willing to adapt, learn, and grow. When we view life with curiosity and openness, we find a deeper connection to the present moment. Letting go doesn't mean giving up on our dreams or goals. Quite the opposite, it makes us freer. When we're no longer tied to a specific outcome, we can pursue our passions with joy and without fear. We can pursue our goals without letting the fear of failure stop us. By letting go of the outcome, we can focus more on the process and find fulfillment in the journey itself. It's a way of living that makes our pursuits more meaningful, without the pressure of expectations. This mindset makes our efforts easier and more joyful, as we're driven by our passion instead of being blocked by fear. Letting go helps us live a life of balance and peace. It's about letting go of the urge to control everything. This doesn't mean we stop having goals or caring about things. It means we can experience life with more freedom. We allow each moment to show us what it has to offer. When we practice letting go, we realize that the beauty of life lies not in holding on to things, but in life's constant flow and change. We realize that true strength lies not in holding on to things, but in our ability to let go. This freedom becomes a source of joy that helps us be present in each moment. When we let go of attachment, we discover a lightness and clarity that shows us the richness of life in all its beauty. Letting go doesn't mean distancing ourselves from life, but connecting with it in a deeper and more beautiful way. When we're no longer driven so much by our desires and expectations, we can enjoy life in all its glory. We experience each moment with wonder and peace, free from all attachments. Once you've learned to let go, you can also begin to focus on the good and the things you're grateful for, instead of complaining about what you don't like. Complaints often stem from wanting something we don't have or being dissatisfied with something. They often distract us from seeing the good. However, when we shift the focus from complaints to gratitude, we shift our perspective. Gratitude feels warm and beautiful, and it allows us to see the positive in life instead of focusing only on what we don't have. It's not just about thinking differently, it's about experiencing life in a new way. When we stop complaining, we learn to look for solutions and opportunities instead of just problems. Complaints can distract us from what's important and make us focus only on the negative. A grateful attitude helps us see the positives as well. It shows us what's going well, what's beautiful, and what we can appreciate in this moment. This doesn't mean we ignore life's difficulties, but it does help us approach them with a positive attitude. Gratitude allows us to appreciate the little things in life that are often overlooked, like the smell of a freshly brewed coffee or a pleasant conversation. When we get into the habit of practicing gratitude, we see life in a much brighter light. Gratitude not only lifts our spirits, but also helps us find joy, even when things aren't always perfect. We don't have to wait until everything is perfect to be happy. Instead, we can choose to appreciate what we already have. When we're grateful instead of complaining about things, it helps us find solutions. Complaining only points us to problems, but gratitude allows us to see how many possibilities there are, even in difficult situations. For example, if you have a difficult school project, instead of complaining, you can be grateful for the chance to learn something new or the opportunity to improve your skills. This shift in perspective can help turn frustration into motivation. Gratitude also has a positive effect on our relationships. If we constantly complain about others, it can be difficult to build trust. Gratitude, on the other hand, helps us appreciate the good qualities in others and not just see their flaws. When we are grateful for what others do for us, it strengthens our relationships and ensures that we support one another. This doesn't mean ignoring conflicts, but rather creating a foundation of appreciation that helps solve problems together. Gratitude also makes us stronger. When we focus on what we're grateful for, it's easier to overcome setbacks. Challenges aren't so daunting when we remember how much good we already have. When things are tough for you, gratitude can help you remember the people and strengths that help you. Practicing gratitude not only strengthens our well-being, but also helps us stay resilient in the face of life's challenges. When you constantly complain about something, you often blame others or circumstances. Gratitude helps you see what you can improve and appreciate. You focus on what you can change, instead of letting the past hold you back. This makes you feel stronger and more capable, allowing you to seize the day to do something positive. Gratitude also leads to a feeling of abundance. Complaints often arise from believing we're missing something. Gratitude shows us that we already have many valuable things in our lives. When we focus on what we have instead of what we lack, we feel more content. This feeling of abundance allows us to stop constantly striving for more, and we can find joy in what we already possess. When we embrace life's cornucopia, everything feels much richer and more fulfilling, without us always wanting more. When you practice gratitude, you learn to notice more and more positive things. The more you think about what you're grateful for, the more you'll notice what's good in your life. A chain reaction occurs. Each moment of gratitude makes the next easier and helps you find joy and appreciation in each day. This practice isn't just a thought process, it changes how you see life, making each moment seem more vivid and precious. Gratitude also creates space for growth. When we constantly complain about things, we often stay stuck in the same place and only see the negative. Gratitude, on the other hand, allows us to see difficulties as opportunities for personal growth. When we appreciate every experience, we can learn from them and develop further, things we often miss when we complain. For example, if you have a difficult project, gratitude helps you focus on what you're learning or what skills you're developing, instead of letting frustration overwhelm you. In stressful moments, gratitude can have a calming effect. When you feel overwhelmed, it helps to think about the things you're grateful for. These thoughts help you stay in the moment and calm yourself. Even if the stress doesn't go away, they give you a sense of control and remind you that there is still good, even in difficult times. By practicing gratitude, you can calm your mind and better manage stress without being overwhelmed by it. This makes gratitude a powerful tool for staying calm during difficult times. Gratitude also helps us develop humility, that is, recognizing how many things we have that we often take for granted. When we appreciate the support and opportunities that surround us, we realize that not everything is created solely by our own efforts. This humility makes us appreciate life even more and shows us how connected we are to others and the world. Gratitude opens us to this connection and allows us to see the good in everything. When you're grateful, you're more likely to share positive things with others. When you recognize what you already have, you'll be more willing to pass some of it on. By showing your gratitude, you're not only doing something good for yourself, but you're also helping others recognize the good in their own lives. This kind of giving creates a chain reaction of kindness that enriches everyone involved and makes life more beautiful for everyone. Gratitude brings joy. Constantly complaining fills our heads with negative thoughts and prevents us from being truly content. However, when you change your perspective and choose gratitude, you feel lighter and happier. Gratitude allows us to enjoy the small, simple moments without waiting for everything to be perfect. This joy arises in the here and now. You don't have to wait for the perfect day to be happy. When you learn to value gratitude, you build a life that feels fulfilling and peaceful, even without always getting everything you want. Gratitude helps you see the good in life instead of focusing on what you lack. Gratitude allows us to learn to enjoy life more fully, even when things don't always go the way we want. Complaints lose their power, and instead, a mindset grows that finds solutions, appreciates the beautiful things in everyday life, and faces challenges with a strong, positive heart. When you cultivate gratitude in your life, you create a fulfilling life, characterized by peace and purpose. With gratitude as our foundation, we can now understand the meaning of sacrifice. Sacrifice isn't simply giving up or depriving ourselves, it's a conscious decision to invest in a fulfilling future. Sacrifice may feel uncomfortable or difficult at first, but fundamentally it's about choosing long-term growth and profound joy over short-term pleasures. When we choose to make sacrifices, we're choosing a life focused on meaningful goals, preparing us for things that will bring us greater long-term fulfillment. Sometimes, we have to forego small pleasures to make room for something bigger that will truly move us forward. When you choose to make a sacrifice, you show your future self that you believe in yourself. Sometimes it's tempting to get something right away, a small indulgence that makes us happy in the moment, but doesn't necessarily support our bigger dreams. But when you willingly forgo that immediate gratification, you can use your time and energy on things that will truly bring you joy and satisfaction in the long run. Every small sacrifice you make helps you create a future that is meaningful and fulfilling, a future based on important goals, not just brief moments of fun. When you make a sacrifice, you show yourself that you value lasting joy more than what passes quickly. It's about living a life that's aligned with your highest goals and dreams. An example of a sacrifice is reimagining what comfort actually means. Comfort often feels good, but too much of it can cause us to become stuck in a place where we no longer grow. If you always stay in your usual routine, you miss out on many opportunities that could help you evolve. When you consciously move outside of your comfort zone, you make room for personal growth. This might mean giving up a bit of extra rest to learn a new skill or forgoing the latest game to save up for something more important. While it may seem difficult in the moment, this sacrifice strengthens your ability to persevere and shows you that true growth often lies outside your usual comfort zone. Short-term discomfort can bring you much more valuable rewards in the long run. Sacrifices also help you develop discipline. Discipline means doing what is necessary, even when it isn't easy, and it is important for achieving your big goals. If you can manage to forego your short-term desires, you will strengthen your discipline. The more you practice forgoing quick rewards, the easier it will be for you to focus on what really matters. Every disciplined decision helps you continue pursuing your goals, even when things get difficult. It's not about forbidding yourself from doing something, but about giving yourself the freedom to choose what really matters in the long run. Through discipline, you learn that the feeling of fulfillment from achieving your big goals is far greater than any quick fun you could have now. Sacrifices also help you gain clarity about your goals. If you constantly choose only quick pleasures, it becomes difficult to see what you truly want to achieve. However, when you begin to prioritize long-term happiness, your goals become clearer and more specific. You begin to understand what is truly important to you and what isn't. By eliminating distractions, you can better focus on what you truly want to achieve. Sacrifices bring you clarity and help you stay focused on your path, even when things get tough. It's as if you clear the fog from your eyes and suddenly see clearly what you truly want. When you give something up, you also learn what it means to be patient and wait for something greater. This is called delayed gratification. It's not always easy to resist the urge for instant gratification, but it helps you remain patient and persistent. When you master this skill, you no longer allow yourself to be distracted by every little desire. You focus on the long-term goals and what will truly move you forward. Instead of looking for quick fixes, you commit to continuous conscious progress. You don't chase the next exciting moment, but rather work towards something that brings you lasting joy. Another benefit of sacrifice is that you develop mental toughness. Every time you forgo a short-term reward, you strengthen your ability to keep going, even when times get tough. Mental toughness means you don't give up, even when things get tough. It helps you deal with difficult situations and uncertainties because you know your path is worthwhile. When you make sacrifices, you learn that you can overcome setbacks and difficulties to achieve something greater. This tenacity will help you overcome obstacles and achieve your goals, even if the path to get there isn't always easy or clear. Sacrifices can also give you a sense of control and empowerment. When you consciously decide what you're giving up for your future, you give your life direction and shape. Instead of waiting for something to happen to you, you actively make choices that improve your life. This builds your self-esteem and allows you to be proud of what you've accomplished. When you look back on your sacrifices, you can see that you've done more for your growth and long-term goals than for short-term pleasure. By choosing to make sacrifices, you set yourself apart from those who only seek instant gratification and create a life that aligns with your deepest values. It's easy to get caught up in the desire to see immediate results, but true success comes from sticking with it and keeping going. When you set long-term goals and focus less on quick wishes, you build a life that truly matters. This allows you to focus on what truly matters and live a life that brings you deep meaning and joy. Every small step toward your goals brings you closer to a life that truly aligns with your dreams and values, a life that brings you true fulfillment, not just short-term fun. If you like these ideas, consider becoming a member of this channel. Not only will you support the channel, but you'll also receive exclusive content. Click the link in the description and become a member. But now, back to the topic. Sacrifice can help you be more grateful. When you stop constantly searching for the next great thing, you begin to appreciate what you already have more. When you consciously give up something comfortable, you create space for gratitude. You realize that true happiness doesn't come from always having more, but from appreciating the things you already have. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you become more content and realize that there's more to life than just collecting things. This gratitude helps you connect with your goals and reminds you why you're willing to make sacrifices. When you choose to make sacrifices, you also learn the importance of hard work. When you're willing to push yourself and not look for shortcuts, you develop a strong work ethic. You give your best no matter how challenging it gets. This attitude becomes a part of you, and it shows you that with perseverance and dedication, you can achieve great things. When you approach your goals this way, each success becomes even more valuable because you know how much you've worked to achieve them. Sacrifices also help you gain a clear picture of your goals. When you forego comfort, it's often because you're working towards something important. Your goal then becomes your driving force, the reason you're pursuing this path. A goal gives direction to your life and helps you make each day meaningful. With this focus, you stay motivated because you're no longer held back by small distractions, but are guided by a larger purpose. Goals give sacrifices a deeper meaning and show you how hard you're fighting for what's truly important to you. Ultimately, sacrifice is about creating a life that's true to your values. It's about valuing quality over quantity and seeking deeper joy over short-term happiness. Every time you give something up, you take a step closer to a future that truly matters, a life that showcases who you truly are. Through sacrifice, you build a life of strength and purpose, a life defined not by what you've taken, but by what you've given. And that's a reward that matters more than any quick moment of convenience. When we choose a life with more meaning and strength, something changes within us. We stop constantly seeking validation from others and begin to develop a deeper and more fulfilling relationship with ourselves. For many, love and acceptance come from others. But when we always look for love from outside, we often become disappointed and disappoint ourselves. True happiness, however, comes when we love and value ourselves without depending on the opinions of others. When you begin to value yourself, you will find a love that is stable, strong, and fulfilling, something that relationships cannot replace. The journey to inner contentment begins with loving yourself. We often look to others to make us feel secure or fulfilled. However, when you learn to accept yourself, you'll realize that you already have everything you need within. You can give yourself the support and love you may have expected from others. This doesn't mean you have to be alone. It means you're building a strong inner foundation that will sustain you regardless of your relationship status. When you're content with yourself, relationships become a choice rather than a necessity, enriching your life rather than defining it. An important part of this journey is being kind to yourself. Many people are kind to others, but often very hard on themselves. Self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness you would treat a good friend. It's about forgiving yourself, recognizing your worth, and appreciating your strengths. This self-compassion will help you keep going, even when things get tough. When you learn to be kind to yourself, you'll find your own source of love that doesn't depend on others. Another important part of contentment is appreciating solitude. Being alone can be a valuable time to reflect, discover your interests, and reflect on your values without constant distractions. This time helps you get to know yourself better and understand who you are, beyond the roles or relationships that typically define you. This connection to yourself gives you a sense of wholeness that no one else can replace. A good relationship with yourself also means setting healthy boundaries. If you always seek approval from others, you can easily be guided by their needs and expectations. However, when you set your own boundaries, you demonstrate that you respect your own needs and values. Boundaries help you take care of your own well-being without sacrificing what's important to you for the sake of others. This builds your self-respect and reminds you that your happiness doesn't depend on the approval of others. Healthy boundaries allow you to build better relationships because you're acting from a position of strength rather than looking for something to complete you. An important step to finding true happiness is to shift from self-criticism to self-love. Many people are often very hard on themselves and only focus on their flaws. This leads to feeling increasingly insecure. But self-acceptance means acknowledging that you are human, with strengths and weaknesses. You don't have to criticize yourself for everything. Instead, you have to treat yourself with kindness. This doesn't mean you can't improve things, but it does mean you should accept yourself without judgment. When you let go of the pressure of perfectionism and accept yourself as you are, you will find inner peace and develop strong self-confidence that doesn't depend on the opinions of others. Self-love also means appreciating yourself and celebrating what makes you special. When you begin to love yourself for who you are, you'll realize you don't need validation from others to recognize your worth. This self-recognition builds your confidence and helps you live confidently, living your own values without craving the opinions of others. When you recognize your unique strengths, you'll live a life that's authentic and true. Another important part of inner happiness is learning how to meet your own emotional needs. We often look to others for love, support, or understanding, but when you can also provide these things for yourself, you enter relationships with a sense of abundance rather than a sense of lack. When you take care of your emotional well-being, you build an inner source of peace that isn't dependent on others. This doesn't mean you can't accept support from others. It means you're not dependent on them to feel your worth. You're free to enjoy relationships without relying on them to bring you happiness. Inner contentment also means learning to trust yourself. Self-confidence means believing that you can make the right decisions and overcome difficult situations. If you constantly ask others for advice, you may not trust your own judgment. But if you trust yourself, you know you can make the right decisions. This confidence gives you the strength to remain calm and confident even in difficult moments. It frees you from constantly seeking validation from others and helps you discover your inner strength to cope with whatever life throws at you. A healthy relationship with yourself also requires a clear purpose. When you're always dependent on others for happiness, it often feels like something is missing. But when you discover your own purpose, you can fill that emptiness with meaning and live a life that feels truly complete. Your purpose gives you direction and a reason to continually grow and improve, regardless of your relationship status. This purpose helps you focus on your goals and celebrate your own growth. You'll find that even in moments of loneliness, you can continue working toward your dreams and still live a fulfilling life. Inner contentment also means you stop constantly seeking approval from others. It feels good to receive approval from others, but if you become dependent on it, it can hold you back. When you find your own inner validation, you stop expecting others to tell you that you are enough. This confidence in yourself helps you make decisions based on your own values, not on pleasing others. You become a calm source of self-confidence that doesn't depend on what others think of you. A good relationship with yourself also helps you grow. If you always rely on others, you may be neglecting your own development. But if you focus on building a strong relationship with yourself, you commit yourself to learning and growing. You'll see challenges as opportunities to become stronger. With this attitude, every day becomes a step toward greater strength and perseverance. When you focus on your growth, life becomes richer and more exciting. It becomes a journey of self-discovery and improvement that depends entirely on you. Inner contentment brings you joy and peace. When you no longer seek love or approval from others, you can live life to the fullest. Every day becomes an opportunity to connect with yourself, discover your passions, and be happy simply by being you. This joy is deep and doesn't change no matter what's happening around you. It comes from your inner connection with your own worth. When you find inner peace, you create a life full of meaning, a life where love is a choice, not something you need. This inner peace is a gift you give yourself, bringing you stability, confidence, and fulfillment that you can't find anywhere else. When you choose inner contentment, your view of yourself and others will change. You'll no longer seek someone to complete you. Instead, you'll live as a whole, happy person. This wholeness will give you the foundation for genuine, honest relationships and allow you to love freely without having to hold on to anyone or exert control. You'll become the source of your own strength, love, and support, building a life full of peace, meaning, and joy. Now that you've found contentment within yourself, a new desire arises, the desire to think for yourself, to question what others do, and to follow your own path. Thinking for yourself is a brave decision, especially in a world where so many people tell you what to do. When you choose not to simply follow the rest of the people, it's not just about fighting trends, it's also about finding out what really suits you and how you can live fully as yourself. When you stop always doing what everyone else is doing, you give yourself the freedom to have your own thoughts, to accept yourself, and to live honestly, without being influenced by how others think you should be. Thinking for yourself begins with curiosity. Curiosity isn't just about knowing things, but about truly wanting to understand why things are done a certain way and whether they truly align with your own beliefs. When you're curious, you ask yourself why certain rules are the way they are, and whether they really help you or if they're just reflecting the opinions of others. This curiosity opens your mind and helps you see and understand things differently. Instead of simply believing what you're told, you begin to question what's truly good for you and what isn't. It takes courage to break away from society's conventional ideas. It's easier to just do what everyone else is doing. But courage means being willing to stand by your own convictions, even if they're not like most people's. When you're courageous, you become more confident and can speak your mind without fear of being judged. Over time, this courage will grow stronger, and you'll no longer need to rely on others for approval. A life lived according to your own values will bring you much more joy because you're doing it out of conviction. An important part of independent thinking is self-reflection. Many people simply live the way everyone else does without asking themselves why they do or believe something. Self-reflection helps you understand why you think or do certain things and figure out which beliefs are truly your own and which you've just adopted. When you take time to reflect on your thoughts, you can let go of anything that doesn't serve you and make room for a life that truly suits you. Self-reflection helps you get to know yourself better and become clearer about what you truly want in life. Sometimes living by your own principles means accepting inconveniences. If you're different from most others, you may encounter criticism or incomprehension. But as you accept these difficulties, you become increasingly stronger and less influenced by the opinions of others. Every uncomfortable moment reminds you that you want to stay true to your true self. This strength helps you continue on your path, even when it's difficult, and live a life that's right for you. Thinking for yourself also means being alone sometimes. Being independent often leads to decisions that others don't always understand, but having the courage to go your own way is a sign of self-respect. It shows that you value your own values and thoughts more than the opinions of others, and that you're willing to live according to what's right for you. This doesn't mean rejecting relationships. It means choosing relationships that respect and accept you for who you really are. If you can find happiness on your own, you'll invite relationships based on true friendship and honesty, not just a desire to belong. Independent thinking also boosts your creativity. When you don't simply follow what others do, you are free to find new ways to see and do things differently. This freedom helps you find solutions where others might only see obstacles. Creativity isn't just about painting or drawing something. It's also about living life with an open mind and trying new things without being afraid of making mistakes. With this kind of creativity, you can create a life that is special and unique, reflecting your own personality, rather than simply doing what everyone else is doing. When you adopt new perspectives, you find ideas and possibilities that give your life more meaning. When you begin to question common social norms, you'll also be better able to understand others. When you stop simply doing what everyone else is doing, you realize that everyone has their own story. This helps you connect with others on a deeper level without judging them, and appreciate their differences without trying to change them. Empathy is important for building relationships based on mutual respect, not just agreement. When you see others as unique individuals, you create deeper and more meaningful connections. Thinking for yourself also helps you respect yourself. When you live according to your own principles, you strengthen your confidence in yourself. You know you're true to your values and not influenced by the opinions of others. Your self-respect doesn't come from what others think of you, but from knowing that you're living your life your own way, according to what feels right to you. When you respect yourself, you become more confident and can handle difficulties calmly. Your self-respect gives you the strength to live your life regardless of external circumstances. You can look to the future clearly and with confidence. Thinking for yourself also helps you continue to grow. When you're willing to question rules, you're open to learning new things and changing. This way, you can use every experience as an opportunity to develop further. You won't be trapped by fixed opinions, but will constantly grow and improve. This openness makes life more exciting and continually opens up new perspectives. Thinking for yourself also helps you better understand your own values. Many rules in society are based on ideas that may not resonate with you. When you question these rules, you discover what's truly important to you. This knowledge helps you make decisions that align with your beliefs and thus live a life that suits you. When you live in harmony with your own values, it feels peaceful because you're no longer torn between different opinions. You can make decisions that truly suit you. Thinking for yourself also gives you freedom. When you don't have to conform to others' expectations, you can shape your life on your own terms. This freedom allows you to explore your passions and interests and live a life that reflects who you truly are. You're not constrained by what others expect, but can forge your own path. This freedom makes life exciting because it reminds you that you can enjoy it without having to conform. When you question society's norms, you stay true to yourself. Being authentic doesn't mean simply being different. It means living the way that feels right for you. This authenticity gives you strength and allows you to appear confident. When you live authentically, your life becomes more valuable and meaningful. This sense of being yourself helps you tackle difficult situations with confidence and determination. When you think for yourself and question societal norms, you'll live a life rich in meaning and joy. You're no longer following the path others dictate. You're forging your own path, one that truly suits you. This path brings happiness, strength, and freedom, and reminds you that life is meant to be lived to the fullest without having to conform to others' expectations. When you embrace this way of life, you'll find the courage to stand by your own convictions and live a life that's entirely yours. And when you learn to think for yourself, you'll develop a very important skill: patience. Patience is more than just waiting. It means trusting in life and remaining calm while things unfold. In a world where everything is supposed to happen quickly, patience is a special strength. Not only does it help you stay calm, but it also brings peace because it shows you that everything that really matters takes time. Patience means knowing that real growth and change don't happen instantly. Many people set big goals, but are disappointed when success doesn't come quickly. When you have patience, you give yourself permission to grow at your own pace and do everything with care instead of rushing. This calm and steady approach helps you build a solid foundation on which real change is possible. Patience also helps you be calmer in your daily life. When you're constantly in a hurry, you often feel stressed or overwhelmed by everything you have to do. But patience helps you focus on one task at a time and enjoy the moment without constantly thinking about the next one. This focus not only makes it easier to get everything done, but also ensures that you complete each task with joy and satisfaction. Patience becomes a way of being mindful, remaining calm and present while experiencing life without the pressure to keep going. Patience also helps you stay strong when things don't go according to plan. Without patience, you would quickly become discouraged when difficulties arise. But when you are patient, you can view obstacles as temporary and overcome them more easily. Every setback becomes an opportunity to practice patience and understand that growth comes not only from progress, but also from pauses. This attitude strengthens you and helps you stick to your goals, even when things get harder. Patience is a powerful tool that helps you deal with all challenges calmly and determinedly. Another benefit of patience is that it helps you believe in yourself more. When you're patient with yourself, you understand that growth takes time and that you're capable of doing it, no matter how long it takes. This confidence in yourself makes you believe in yourself more and more and helps you keep going, even when progress seems slow. When you trust the process, you stop doubting yourself and start relying on your inner strength. This confidence gives you the strength to stick with your goals without relying on quick results or constant validation. In relationships, patience helps you understand others better and approach them with compassion. Being impatient can cause frustration and make it difficult to fully engage with others. But when you are patient, you give others the time they need to express themselves and simply be who they are without feeling pressured. This patience builds a deeper connection because you approach others with kindness and understanding instead of judgment. You become someone they can rely on, a calm and reliable person who meets them where they are. This creates stronger relationships based on respect and support. Patience also helps you make better decisions. When you're in a hurry, you tend to decide quickly without considering the consequences. But when you're patient, you take your time to consider your options and make the best decision for you. This calm reflection helps you make wiser decisions because you're keeping the bigger picture in mind, not just the moment. Patience doesn't mean always waiting for a long time, but rather making well-considered decisions. Patience also helps you reduce stress. If you're constantly impatient, you often feel tense and like you're always lagging behind. But when you practice patience, you can relax and enjoy the moment without constantly rushing to the next thing. This attitude helps you become calmer and enjoy life without constantly putting yourself under pressure. With patience, you can live in the here and now and appreciate every experience without feeling like you're missing out. This calmness helps you stay strong, especially in difficult times. Patience also helps you appreciate small successes. If you only focus on the big goal, you might overlook all the small progress you're making. But with patience, you learn to celebrate every small step and recognize that even the small victories matter. You feel more motivated because you know that the journey is just as valuable as the destination. Those who learn patience also become more humble. Patience means accepting that not everything always happens exactly as you want it to. It means understanding that life has its own pace. This humility helps you avoid trying to control everything and trust that things will unfold at the right time. Patience doesn't mean giving up. It means recognizing that true strength lies in accepting the natural course of things. This attitude helps you be at peace with life and experience each moment calmly. Patience also helps you focus on perseverance rather than perfection. If you're impatient, you may look for quick fixes or shortcuts, but these often don't last. Patience teaches you that true success is achieved only through constant, consistent effort. When you're patient, you choose the path of steady progress rather than striving to make everything perfect right away. This mindset helps you stick with it because you know that true change is only possible through continuous work. Patience also helps you stay connected to your goal. When you're patient, you stay focused on long-term goals, even when the path to them seems slow. Patience helps you do what's truly important to you. It enables you to live a life aligned with your values, even when things get difficult. This patience gives you the feeling that every step, however small, brings you closer to your big goal. Patience also makes you more grateful. When you're not always striving for the next goal, you can enjoy the moment and appreciate what you have. Patience helps you recognize the value of the present. It allows you to truly experience life and enjoy the journey instead of constantly looking ahead. Patience and gratitude go hand in hand and help you appreciate the progress and changes along the way. When you choose patience, you choose a life that focuses on depth over speed and fulfillment over haste. Patience helps you live life with more wisdom and calm, without demanding that everything happen immediately. It supports you in living a fulfilling life where every moment counts and every step is part of a beautiful, continuous journey. After learning patience and understanding that real progress takes time, the next step is minimalism. Minimalism isn't just about getting rid of things, but about separating yourself from everything that doesn't add real value to your life. It's about freeing yourself and finding peace by focusing on what truly matters to you. In a world that constantly wants to force more things on you, minimalism gives you the freedom to live simply. When you choose less, you gain clarity and can live a life that truly makes sense. Minimalism begins with getting rid of unnecessary things. We often accumulate things, habits, or even thoughts that don't really help us, but we hold on to them because we're used to them. Minimalism encourages you to question everything. Does this object or thought truly bring something positive into my life, or is it just blocking my space? When you free yourself of unnecessary things, you make room for what truly matters. It's not about limiting yourself, but about discovering the freedom of simplicity. By letting go of unnecessary things, you not only clear your space, but also create clarity, allowing you to live a more focused and fulfilling life. Decluttering your physical space is often the first step toward a minimalist lifestyle, but the effects go much further than just tidying up. Too much clutter in your environment can overwhelm your senses and create a sense of chaos that affects everything you do. When your environment is cluttered with unnecessary stuff, your mind can also feel messy and cluttered. Simplifying and organizing your space will help reduce distractions and create a calm environment where you can think and focus better. Everything you keep will then have meaning and purpose. You're making a conscious choice rather than a random pile of things. As your space becomes more organized, your mind will feel clearer. This clarity makes it easier to relax, focus, and find peace in your own space. Minimalism in space doesn't just mean fewer things, it also means a change in your mind, a first step toward a life based on simplicity. Minimalism also changes the way you think about things, away from ever-increasing possessions and toward appreciation. In a world where many people are constantly striving for new things, we often believe that the next item will make us happy. But when we give up the urge to constantly buy more, we begin to appreciate the things we already have. Minimalism isn't just about owning less, it's also about appreciating more. When you focus on what's essential, you realize that true happiness isn't found in new things. True joy comes from within, from appreciating simple things, small moments, and the people who matter to you. With this new perspective, you stop seeking happiness in ever-increasing possessions. Instead, you develop a deep sense of gratitude for everything that fills your life. This appreciation brings a sense of contentment that things can never provide. Minimalism also helps you free yourself of emotional baggage. Just as unnecessary things take up space in your room, old grudges, unsolved problems, and negative thoughts can also take up a lot of space in your mind. These emotional burdens can make you stressed and anxious. Emotional minimalism means letting go of these burdens and making room for positive thoughts and feelings. This might mean forgiving mistakes, letting go of past worries, or trying to stop criticizing yourself. The more you let go, the closer you get to inner peace, a calm mind, free of unnecessary worries. It's about clearing the fog in your head and approaching life with an open, peaceful heart. You become more present, able to enjoy the moment, and free yourself from the burden of old problems. Another important part of minimalism is letting go of the constant desire to impress others. Many of us collect things, make things, or have opinions just to gain approval from others or to fit in. Minimalism helps you rethink this desire by encouraging you to live according to your own values rather than the expectations of others. When you let go of the urge to impress others, you reclaim your freedom. You are no longer forced to live the way others expect you to. This new freedom gives you the feeling of living your own life. You realize that your worth doesn't depend on what you own or how others see you. When you choose to live a simpler life and live by your own principles, you can live a life that aligns with your true values. You don't have to project false images for others. You can simply be yourself and enjoy the freedom to live on your own terms. Minimalism also helps you simplify your schedule and take a break from the hectic pace of everyday life. In today's world, many people fill their days with too many things, leaving little time for rest or reflection. Minimalism encourages you to focus on what truly aligns with your goals and values. It's not about doing less, but doing more of what matters. When you choose to prioritize and let go of obligations that drain you, you create space for a more fulfilling life. You'll have more time to be with those you love, pursue your hobbies, or simply relax. A simplified schedule gives you the opportunity to focus on what truly empowers and makes you happy. Minimalism helps you live more mindfully by giving you space to truly be in the moment. Excessive possessions, many obligations and distractions can easily overwhelm us and divert our attention from what's happening right now. When you simplify your life, you create a calmer environment where you can truly live in the here and now. This mindfulness helps you savor life's small pleasures, from a quiet morning with a cup of tea to a walk in the park. You'll savor the moments without worrying about the future or dwelling on the past. Minimalism and mindfulness complement each other, and together they contribute to a life filled with awareness and gratitude for the present. Every day becomes an opportunity to live more intentionally, calmly, and with clarity. Minimalism shows you how much more valuable experiences are in life than things. In a world that constantly encourages us to buy more and more, we often forget that true happiness often comes from the experiences we have and the people around us. Instead of spending money on new things, minimalism encourages us to invest in memories and relationships. These are the true treasures that give our lives meaning, moments of laughter, learning, and growth. When you focus on experiences instead of things, you will live a fulfilling life. Every adventure, every conversation, and every special moment becomes part of your story, ensuring that you can look back with real memories and joy. Because experiences remain in your heart, while material things decay or are lost. Minimalism also helps you connect more closely with your life's purpose. When you eliminate the distractions of too many things and obligations, it's easier to focus on what really matters. By putting aside unnecessary things, you make room for your passions and dreams. This clarity allows you to live consciously and purposefully, always in alignment with your deepest desires and values. Minimalism here doesn't mean limiting yourself, but rather liberating yourself. It's about detaching yourself from all the things that distract you from what truly brings you joy and fulfillment. Through minimalism, you create a life that reflects your true purpose and is deeply connected to your true goals. When you embrace minimalism, you'll discover that true happiness doesn't come from constantly acquiring new things. Many people believe the next big thing will make them happy, but minimalism shows us that true contentment comes from appreciating what we already have. It's about being grateful for the moment, for the people around us, and for life's simple pleasures. When you embrace minimalism, you'll find peace in simplicity and no longer succumb to the urge to constantly own new things. This contentment comes with a quiet joy, a joy that doesn't depend on new possessions, but on appreciating the here and now. When you shift your mindset from wanting more to appreciating more, you'll live a life that feels peaceful and fulfilling. Minimalism also helps you develop deeper and more meaningful relationships. When you stop trying to accumulate things or impress others, you can truly focus on the people who matter to you. Without the pressure to compete or compare yourself, your relationships become more authentic and genuine. You'll appreciate people more for who they are, not for what they own or how useful they are to you. Minimalism in relationships means cultivating genuine, respectful, and loving bonds. These deep connections enrich your life and give you the fulfillment that material things can never provide. When you simplify your relationships, you make room for genuine, lasting friendships and relationships that bring true meaning to your life. Minimalism also teaches us to let go of things that don't serve us. We often hold on to things, be they objects or feelings, because we've become accustomed to them or are afraid of losing them. But minimalism shows us that letting go doesn't mean losing something, but gaining freedom. When you let go of something, you make room for new things, for things that breathe a sigh of relief and offer you new possibilities. This shift in mindset helps you develop a sense of fulfillment, where you believe you already have enough. You no longer need to constantly accumulate things to live a rich and meaningful life. True wealth comes from peace, clarity, and space to grow. Minimalism means living consciously and focusing on what truly matters. It's about living clearly and simply, paying attention to what truly enriches your life instead of being driven by the expectations of others. A simple life brings you fulfillment because it shows you that true happiness lies not in possessions, but in the profound experiences you have. When you choose minimalism, you choose a life that has meaning and purpose, a life characterized by simple pleasures. As you declutter your life, both physically and emotionally, you'll also find that you have to confront your thoughts. Negative thoughts can make your life difficult and hinder your growth. But with practice, you can learn to transform these thoughts into positive ones. It's not about ignoring the problems, but about recognizing that you can face them with strength and serenity. It's about learning how to motivate yourself and help yourself find more peace. An important step is to recognize negative thoughts in the first place. Often we fall into negative thought patterns without realizing it. But if you start paying attention to your thoughts, you can change them. The first step is to become aware when you're having negative thoughts. Once you become aware of them, you can start thinking about them differently. Instead of letting self-doubt and frustration control you, you can start looking for solutions and focusing on your progress. Stoic philosophy offers helpful approaches to changing these negative thoughts. A good way to deal with negative thoughts is to focus on what you can influence. Many negative thoughts arise because we try to control things that are beyond our control. When you focus on what you can actually control, like your reactions and your decisions, you'll find that you can stop stressing about things you can't change. This brings peace because you stop wishing things were different and instead take action to improve what you can. One way to change negative thoughts is to simply observe things instead of immediately judging them. When you face a challenge, try not to immediately think it's something bad or stressful. Just look at it as if it's something that's happening right now. This attitude will help you think more clearly and realize that difficulties are simply a part of life. When you observe situations instead of judging them, you begin to approach them with curiosity instead of fear. This way, you can learn from every experience, even if it's difficult, because you see the value in it. Another way to deal with negative thoughts is to be grateful. Gratitude helps you focus on the good in your life even when things aren't easy. Practicing always looking for the positive will protect you from negative thoughts. Gratitude doesn't make problems disappear, but it helps you focus on the good, even in difficult times. This way you remind yourself that there are many things to be grateful for, and you become stronger when things get tough. Visualization is another technique for shifting your thinking. When you have a negative thought, try imagining a positive outcome or solution. It's not about ignoring your problems, but about believing that you're capable of solving them. Imagining yourself succeeding gives you confidence and replaces doubt with self-belief. This exercise helps you feel stronger and face challenges with a creative and determined attitude. It's also important to treat yourself with compassion instead of criticizing yourself. Often negative thoughts come from being too hard on yourself and focusing only on your mistakes. However, when you treat yourself with compassion, you learn to be kind to yourself, even when things aren't perfect. This doesn't mean ignoring your mistakes. It means looking at them in a way that helps you learn from them instead of becoming discouraged. Being kind to yourself helps you develop an inner voice that encourages you to keep going, even when you make mistakes. A good way to deal with negative thoughts is to ask yourself if they're really true. Sometimes negative thoughts are just fears or old memories that are no longer important. When you ask yourself whether a negative thought is actually true, you realize that many of these thoughts are just assumptions or fears. This way, you learn to focus on thoughts that truly help you and are true, instead of getting stuck in negative thoughts. Over time, you'll notice that these negative thoughts have less power over you because you learn to question them. Another way to deal with negative thoughts is to adopt a growth mindset. This means viewing challenges as opportunities to learn. When you see setbacks as opportunities to grow, the negative thoughts are less difficult to bear. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to develop and learn new skills. With a growth mindset, problems aren't a threat but rather lessons that help you evolve. This mindset doesn't let difficulties hold you back, but motivates you to learn and improve. Finally, focusing on the present moment helps to deal with negative thoughts. Negative thoughts often arise when we worry about the future or regret the past. However, focusing on what's happening now allows you to let go of the worries you can't control. This helps you stay calm because you won't be distracted by things you can't change. When you're mindful, you can experience each moment fully and have a peaceful, focused mind where negativity has less room. This practice helps you find joy in the moment and remember that every moment is precious. A very helpful way to reframe your thinking is to stop focusing on the problems and start looking for solutions. It's easy to get lost in a cycle of negative thoughts, but when you actively seek solutions, you take control of the situation. Every challenge then becomes an opportunity to think and act creatively. Instead of letting frustrations weigh you down, you can see them as opportunities for personal growth. This mindset helps you take control and face life's challenges with confidence and courage. It's not about ignoring difficulties. It's about teaching you to take a solution-oriented approach that gives you clarity and confidence no matter what comes your way. It's also very helpful to develop positive habits to deal with negative thoughts. Our habits determine much of our daily lives. If you consciously adopt routines that are good for you both physically and mentally, you can protect yourself from negative thoughts. Whether it's exercising regularly, meditating for a few minutes every day, or simply spending time outside, these positive habits give you the power to empower yourself. Over time, you'll do these actions automatically, and they'll become a part of your balanced and positive life. Each of these habits helps you stay calm and steadfast in stressful moments. They give you stability and ensure you have the support you need to maintain a healthy, optimistic attitude. In this way, you create a life that doesn't just react to negative thoughts, but actively supports you in staying mentally and emotionally strong. As you continue to manage negative thoughts and replace them with positive and uplifting ones, you'll gradually develop a strong, positive mindset. Over time, you'll no longer be torn apart by every challenge or doubt. Instead, you'll learn to approach every situation calmly and with confidence. This isn't about ignoring difficulties, but rather facing them with strength, hope, and clarity. You'll understand that setbacks are part of the journey, not the end. You'll learn that you can take something positive from your experiences to help you adapt and grow. This inner strength will help you see life clearly. The more you practice organizing your thoughts, the easier it will be to turn challenges into opportunities and develop mental resilience that will help you stay strong in your decisions. Once you've learned to control your thoughts and let go of negative ones, the next important step is to take action. Positive thinking alone isn't enough. Real progress comes from being able to turn thoughts into actions and take the first step toward your goals. Action is the path that makes your dreams and intentions come true. When you take action, you're no longer waiting for life to happen. You're making it happen. Every step you take is a step toward the life you want. This shift is empowering because it transforms you from a spectator to an active doer. By taking action, you shape your life and steer it in the direction you envision, not just through thoughts, but through real, tangible actions. The first step to taking action is often overcoming inertia. We all have goals, ideas, and desires, but sometimes fear, self-doubt, or the comfort of the familiar holds us back from taking that first step. Taking action means overcoming those obstacles and daring to try something new, even if it's scary at first. The trick is to start small. The first step doesn't have to be big. Simply telling yourself you're starting is enough. Once you've taken that first step, it gets easier. Every action, no matter how small, helps you believe in progress. This momentum propels you forward. You prove to yourself that you have the power to break free from inertia and create the life you desire. Taking action also means setting clear goals. Without clear goals, you often don't know where to start or where you're going. However, when you set very specific goals, you give yourself a direction to follow. This clarity gives meaning to your actions and helps you focus on what's really important. It's not about having a fixed plan, but rather a clear idea of where you want to go. This vision helps you make decisions that are aligned with your goals and values. When you know what you want to achieve, every step will bring you a little closer to the life you want. The power of having clear goals is that they keep you on track and help you stay motivated and focused. On your path to action, it is especially important to persist. In the beginning, you often take a step with a lot of energy and joy, but real change requires regular effort. Consistency is what turns occasional irregular actions into a habit. When you work towards your goal every day, even on the difficult days, you show how determined you are to achieve your dreams. It's not about always being perfect or seeing immediate success, but about always keeping going and not giving up, even when progress seems small. Every time you do something, even if it's just a small task, you build resilience. This resilience helps you stay on the right path even when things get more difficult. Consistency doesn't mean doing everything right the first time, but rather keeping going, even when things aren't going so well. It's the small daily steps that ultimately bring you big changes. Part of taking action is accepting failure as a part of learning. Many people are afraid of failure and avoid doing something because they are afraid of failing. But in reality, failure is not an obstacle but an opportunity. Every mistake helps you learn something new and become better. When you experience a setback, you are not defeated. You gain valuable information that helps you do better next time. When you see failure as a normal part of your journey, you free yourself from the fear of making mistakes. Every setback is simply an opportunity to try again, but with more knowledge and experience. Mistakes are not something to be avoided, but something that helps you grow. When you have this attitude, you become braver and can try new things because you know that mistakes bring you closer to success. When you take action, it's important to focus not just on the end goal but also on the journey to get there. It's tempting to look only at the finished product, but true change happens in the many small steps that bring you closer to your goal. When you enjoy the process, you find joy in the small wins and what you learn along the way. This allows you to experience growth while you're going through it, not only after you've achieved your goal. This mindset makes the journey itself worthwhile and helps you appreciate the work, not just the result. It reminds you that growth isn't just about reaching a goal, but also about the person you become along the way, adapting, learning, and improving. Another important part of taking action is taking responsibility for your decisions. When you take responsibility for your life, you realize that your decisions determine the direction your life takes. This is a powerful and encouraging realization because you then have control over your life. Every decision you make, even the small ones, helps steer your life in a certain direction. When you take responsibility for your actions, you become the designer of your own life. You are no longer just an observer waiting for something to happen, but an active participant in your life, making decisions that suit you and reflect your values. This responsibility gives you confidence because you recognize that your life is the result of your own decisions. When you are responsible for yourself, you can shape your life the way you want it to be. Another important point about taking action is to put your values above convenience. It's easy to choose the easier path or make decisions that feel easier in the moment. But when you stay true to your principles, you make choices that truly align with what's important to you and who you want to be. This takes courage, especially when the easier path seems more appealing. But when you put your values above all else, you build a life of honesty and respect. Every choice you make is an expression of who you truly are and what you believe is right. When you live this way, you'll feel fulfilled and satisfied with your life because you know you're acting in alignment with yourself. It brings you inner peace when you see that your choices reflect the person you want to become. Finally, it's important to have the courage to take action. Every step you take, no matter how small, requires bravery. The unknown can sometimes be scary, but the more you take action, the stronger you become. Courage isn't about not being afraid, but about moving forward despite fear. Every time you take a step into the unknown, you expand your comfort zone and become braver. This courage becomes a part of you, growing the more you face challenges. Over time, you become stronger because you know that each action better prepares you and gives you more confidence in yourself. When you take action, you'll also learn to be patient. Change doesn't happen overnight, and progress takes time. Patience helps you persevere and keep working, even if the results aren't immediately visible. When you're patient, you trust that your efforts will eventually pay off. Patience helps you stay calm and keep going, even if you don't see any immediate change. It reminds you that real change takes time, and that perseverance and consistency will get you there. By taking action, you'll also build your resilience. Life often presents us with challenges, but if you persist, you'll become stronger and better able to handle difficulties. Resilience doesn't mean avoiding difficulties. It means finding the strength to keep getting back up, even when things go wrong. It helps you stay confident and determined when facing problems. Every time you take action, you become stronger and better able to handle whatever comes your way. When you take action, you can also create a lasting legacy. Every decision you make and every effort you make contributes to creating the life you want. Your legacy isn't about becoming famous or attracting attention, but about how your actions affect you and others. It demonstrates that you're living according to your own values. When you take control of your life, you create a life that's truly yours. This legacy gives you purpose and reminds you that every action, no matter how small, is part of something bigger. Ultimately, it's about consciously choosing a life that fulfills you. It's about turning your ideas into reality and making your wishes come true. When you actively shape your life, you build a path that reflects your dreams, values, and strengths. When you're ready to act, you feel fulfilled because you're living with intention and strength. With every step you take, you build a life that's truly yours, a life that reflects your deepest desires and the courage to realize them. As you begin to live your life with intention, there's something that makes every decision even more meaningful: the reminder that life doesn't last forever. This realization isn't meant to make you sad, but rather to help you live life intentionally and meaningfully. This thought, called memento mori, which means remember that you must die, isn't meant to make you fear the end, but rather to remind you that every moment counts. When you realize that life is short, you'll appreciate it more and see each day as an opportunity to create, connect with others, and make a difference. Knowing that life is short changes how you think about your priorities. Many people fill their lives with things that, considering how quickly time passes, may not really be important. When you realize that time is limited, you'll focus on what truly matters to you. This awareness creates clarity and helps you let go of distractions or unimportant goals. This allows you to focus on what aligns with your values and dreams. When you realize that life is precious and limited, every choice you make becomes an opportunity to live in alignment with what means most to you. You begin to spend your time doing the things that truly fulfill you. This reminder of life's brevity also helps you live in the moment. Many people are so preoccupied with the future or ruminating on the past that they forget to savor the moment. Understanding that life is short reminds you that the only time you can control is the present. This helps you appreciate each moment, build deeper connections with others, and find joy in daily life. Living in the here and now doesn't mean ignoring the future. It means appreciating and enjoying the present without waiting for what's to come. Knowing that life is short also makes you brave. When you realize your time is limited, you lose the fear of things like failure, rejection, or embarrassment. These fears seem smaller when you reflect on how quickly time passes. This thought gives you the courage to take risks, follow your dreams now, and live a bold life. When you accept that life doesn't last forever, you'll savor it and pursue your passions. This gives you the courage to do what you truly want, even if you don't know exactly what the future holds. When you realize that life is short, you also become more grateful. You begin to see every day, every conversation, and every experience as a gift. Gratitude becomes a part of you and helps you recognize the beauty in everything, even the little things. It makes you happy and content and shows you that the true value of life lies not in money or fame, but in the experiences and moments that touch your heart. Gratitude gives you peace, especially in difficult times. Reflecting on the transience of life helps you build stronger relationships with others. When you know time is limited, you'll connect more deeply with others, showing them love and appreciation. You'll realize the importance of letting go of anger, forgiving quickly and appreciating those around you. When you understand how short life is, you'll focus on spending time with the people who mean the most to you and creating memories together that last forever. This mindset transforms your relationships, making them more meaningful and leaving little room for regret or missed opportunities. Another important part of accepting the transience of life is letting go of things that no longer serve you. When you know that life is limited, it's easier to turn your back on negative feelings, anger, or bad habits. You realize that holding on to such things only wastes your time and energy. Letting go makes room for things that bring you joy and meaning. It's a way to free yourself and create space for new opportunities. When you reflect on the transience of life, you should also consider your legacy. Realizing that life is short leads you to think about the impact you want to make, the values you want to pass on, and how you want to be remembered. Your legacy isn't about becoming famous or receiving recognition. It's about living in a way that stays true to your true purpose and principles. When you act with this awareness, every decision you make, every good deed you perform, becomes part of the life you're building. These thoughts about your legacy give you direction and remind you to live in a way that is meaningful to you and others. Accepting the transience of life is a very powerful practice that helps us become stronger. When you realize that life only lasts for a limited time, you are less shaken by setbacks and difficult moments. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by problems or challenges, you learn to see them as small temporary respites that will pass. This knowledge helps you face both the good and the difficult times in life with calm. You begin to understand that nothing, not even the toughest challenges, lasts forever. And this knowledge brings you peace. The idea that life ends eventually shows you the importance of always getting up and moving on. This allows you to live each moment courageously and with a clear perspective. It also helps you express yourself and share your thoughts and desires. Many people are hesitant to express their dreams or opinions for fear of being rejected. But when you understand that time is short, you're encouraged to show up authentically. It's not about gaining recognition, it's about being yourself. By expressing yourself, you live your life to the fullest and open yourself up to new experiences and personal growth. Another powerful effect of accepting impermanence is that you find inner peace. When you know that life is short, you are less influenced by small worries or annoyances. You begin to appreciate what truly matters. Conflicts and annoyances become less important because you understand that they, too, will pass. Instead, you value every moment of calm and take the time to enjoy the present. When you accept the finiteness of life, you develop an attitude of serenity that helps you find inner peace regardless of external circumstances. This doesn't mean giving up. It means drawing strength from the knowledge that life is constantly changing. And just as life changes, you too become increasingly stronger and calmer. Remembering the transience of life can also inspire you to pursue your dreams without delay. We often wait for the right moment to achieve our goals or fulfill our desires. But the awareness that life passes quickly reminds us that the perfect time is now. Every moment is an opportunity to take steps toward your dreams. Time is precious, and every little bit of it that you invest in your dreams is valuable. Instead of waiting for the right moment, seize the opportunities that come your way now and take each step with a clear goal in mind. When you start pursuing your dreams today, you are celebrating life itself. You grow and live with energy and motivation. Every step you take brings you closer to a fulfilling life. Another important aspect of accepting life's transience is humility. When you realize that life is short, you begin to understand that you are part of something much bigger than your own successes. This insight helps you appreciate the small but precious moments that make up life. True beauty often lies not in great achievements or wealth, but in the simple, fleeting experiences that connect us. Living with humility means seeing each day as a gift and appreciating the opportunities it holds for us, for growth, love, and connection. This humility reminds you to live in harmony with life's natural flow and find peace in the present. It's not about playing small, but about enjoying life with an attitude of respect and gratitude. The awareness that life is fleeting is not an invitation to fear or sadness. Rather, it is a call to live consciously and seize the moment. Every moment is a precious opportunity to make life richer and more fulfilling. Knowing that time is limited adds depth to your life. It helps you recognize what is truly important and leads to a life full of courage, love, and presence. When you embrace this truth in your life, you will live with a clear understanding that every day is an opportunity to live more authentically and fulfillingly. When you accept that life is finite, everything becomes clearer. You'll better understand what truly matters to you. But even if you know your goals and values, there will still be times when others question you or don't see you properly. These situations can be painful, especially if you feel misunderstood. But the wisdom of the Stoics can help you overcome such challenges with calm and strength. Instead of reacting with anger or disappointment, Stoicism teaches us to handle such moments with serenity and dignity. The key is not to be influenced by the judgments of others, but to rise above them. In this way, you strengthen your self-confidence and develop a character that is not easily shaken by the opinions of others. An important lesson from Stoic philosophy when it comes to dealing with negative opinions from others is not to worry too much about what others think. Stoicism shows us that we can't control what others say or think about us, but we can decide how much importance we give to those thoughts. When you focus on your own values and what's important to you, you become less dependent on the approval of others. This doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to criticism, but rather that you value your own opinion of yourself more than the opinions of others. When you recognize your own worth, the negative judgments of others lose their power. This makes you stronger and allows you to free yourself from the negative words of others. But there's also a challenge. Sometimes, when you try to free yourself from other people's expectations and fail, there may be a deeper cause. You may not yet know exactly what's holding you back, but often it's fear. Fear comes stealthily and influences you without you noticing. It can hold you captive for a long time and make your life miserable, but there is a solution that can help you get rid of this fear. By engaging with the wisdom of the Stoics and modern psychology, you can free yourself from this inner poison. It's like a magic potion that heals you and allows you to live courageously and confidently again. Another important Stoic concept is humility. Humility doesn't mean belittling yourself, but rather recognizing your strengths and not constantly having to prove them to others. A humble person has a calm yet powerful presence. This strength isn't loud, but consistent and clear. It shows others that you know your worth and don't rely on external validation. People respect those who don't constantly seek praise. This kind of modesty protects you from negative judgment and helps you free yourself from critics. Practicing patience is also a valuable Stoicism tip when faced with negative opinions. It's tempting to react immediately when someone underestimates you. However, Stoicism teaches us that it's often better to wait and reveal the truth over time. Patience doesn't mean being passive. It means trusting that your worth will become apparent through your actions and consistency. If you stay calm and let your actions speak for themselves, the people who underestimated you may eventually realize that their opinion is incorrect. Another piece of Stoic advice for dealing with negative judgment is to focus on your own growth. Instead of letting others' judgments influence you, you can put your energy into your personal development. Every setback or negative remark can be an opportunity to become even better. When you improve yourself and continue to work on yourself, you know that your worth is determined by your actions, not the opinions of others. When you choose to grow, instead of constantly seeking external validation, you show everyone that you know your own worth. Serenity is another powerful Stoic response to negative evaluation. When others try to put you down, your calmness demonstrates how strong you truly are. Stoicism says that true strength lies in remaining calm and collected, even when others try to hurt you. This serenity shows that you are not influenced by the words of others and that your inner peace is more important than their opinions. Finally, Stoicism also speaks of forgiveness as an important response to negative evaluations. If you hold a grudge or cling to negative thoughts, you only harm yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean you have to condone other people's behavior, but you do let go and free yourself from negative energy. By forgiving, you free yourself from the burden and can live calmly and focused again. The people who mistreat you may notice that you don't hold a grudge and that you are rooted in your inner peace. You show them that you aren't looking for external validation, but that you are living in alignment with your own values. Another very important aspect of Stoicism is self-respect. Self-respect means believing in your own worth without constantly needing validation from others. When you have self-respect, it will be reflected in your behavior. You'll notice that the opinions of others can no longer shake you because you know who you are and what you're worth. Self-respect sets an invisible boundary that shows others that they can't belittle you so easily. People will realize that their opinions can't change your self-confidence. Stoicism also shows us the importance of setting boundaries. If someone consistently mistreats you, you need to make sure you don't let that behavior affect you. Setting boundaries means showing yourself respect and making sure no one makes you feel less than. It's not about scaring others away, but about protecting your self-esteem. When you set boundaries calmly and firmly, you demonstrate that your worth cannot be questioned and that others can't simply judge you. Another important Stoic lesson is to develop compassion for people who don't appreciate you. Often, those who mistreat us are struggling with their own problems. When you recognize that their negative thoughts may stem from their own struggles, you can feel compassion for them instead of getting angry. Compassion helps you stay calm and not get defensive. If you react calmly and their words don't hurt you, they're often surprised and realize that their opinion doesn't bother you. Living a life with a clear purpose is also a wonderful way to care less about what others think of you. When you know your purpose, the opinions of others become less important. Having a purpose gives you direction that doesn't depend on the approval of others. By staying true to your purpose, you demonstrate that your worth isn't determined by the opinions of others, but by what you do and what's important to you. This focus on your goal gives you a strong inner calm that shows others that true value comes from living honestly, not from seeking recognition. Another Stoic practice is to be grateful even when others don't appreciate you. When you focus on what you value about yourself and your life, you can see things in a different light. Gratitude reminds you of your strengths, the things that have shaped you, and the inner strength that has helped you through difficult times. This attitude of gratitude makes you strong and protects you from being influenced by the opinions of others. Another valuable lesson of the Stoics is to accept that nothing lasts forever. When you understand that everything, including the judgments of others, is temporary, you become more serene. When you view the negative judgments of others as something that won't last forever, they lose their power over you. This knowledge helps you remain calm even when others say something negative about you, because you know it's only a momentary event. Stoicism also teaches us to know ourselves well. When you understand who you are, what you're capable of, and what's important to you, you're less influenced by the opinions of others. When you trust yourself, the negative judgments of others can't change your self-image. When you know yourself well, the opinions of others become less important because you know who you truly are. This self-knowledge makes undervaluation meaningless because you know your own truth. When you implement these Stoic teachings, you build a life that is strong in the face of the opinions of others, a life based more on inner strength than external validation. If you follow these principles, you will no longer be influenced by the negative judgments of others. You will calmly demonstrate your strength and demonstrate through your behavior that you are not easily defeated. This attitude will help you learn from every situation and continue to grow so that you live a life with more meaning and peace. When you learn to rise above the judgments of others, you open the door to discovering deeper wisdom that leads to a truly happy life. Stoic philosophy offers valuable advice that can help you achieve what you truly want. Not the quick and fleeting things, but what will make you truly happy in the long run. Living an extraordinary life means embracing everything life has to offer, with clarity, purpose, and inner strength. Stoic principles aren't about chasing every whim, but about achieving what brings true joy and satisfaction. The path to an extraordinary life begins with self-mastery. This means learning to control your desires, feelings, and reactions. Stoicism teaches that true freedom comes from this self-mastery because it allows you to make decisions based on your own values, not just on what's happening or what others expect. Self-mastery gives you the power to act consciously and choose a path that aligns with your goals, rather than simply reacting to external events. This quiet strength helps you remain calm and focused, even when facing difficult challenges. Living an extraordinary life also means knowing your purpose. Without a clear goal, it's easy to get distracted by unimportant things. Stoic wisdom encourages you to know why you are here, what you want to give to the world, and what values you hold dear. Your purpose acts like a compass, helping you make decisions and take actions that align with your greater purpose. Every day and every task becomes an opportunity to move closer to that goal, so your life is full of meaning and you live in alignment with your values. It's not about rigidly clinging to certain goals, but rather living in such a way that what is truly important to you shines through even in difficult times. An important key to achieving everything you desire is finding inner peace. Stoicism shows us that peace doesn't mean avoiding problems. Rather, it's about developing the strength to remain calm when difficulties arise. When you learn to clear your mind and remain calm in difficult moments, you create a life where challenges can't derail you. Inner peace doesn't mean ignoring life's problems. It means having the tools you need to tackle them with confidence. This peace becomes the foundation upon which you can pursue your goals without letting every little obstacle stop you. Gratitude is also an important part of living an extraordinary life. People often think a lot about what they lack, which makes them feel unhappy. The Stoic approach to gratitude shows us how important it is to appreciate what we already have. Instead of always striving for more, we can learn to enjoy the moment and appreciate the little things. This gratitude helps you feel content and experience life richly and joyfully. When you recognize the good in your life, you'll realize that you don't have to lack anything. You already have everything you need to be happy. Resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks, is another essential component of a great life. Stoicism teaches us that resilience doesn't mean avoiding difficult situations. Rather, it's about becoming stronger so you can better overcome challenges. When you're resilient, you don't let things go wrong get you down. You see every problem as an opportunity to learn something new and grow. This attitude makes you unstoppable because you know you can overcome any challenge. Living with integrity, that is, with honesty and loyalty to your own values, is also important. An extraordinary life is one in which your actions align with your beliefs. Integrity means doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. It reminds you that true success isn't just about achieving goals, but also about living a life you can be proud of. When you live with integrity, people trust you because they know you'll keep your word. While living with integrity can be difficult at times, it brings real rewards like respect, self-respect, and true friendships. Stoic wisdom also speaks of courage. To live an extraordinary life, you must often step out of your comfort zone and face your fears. It means not knowing what's next, but forging ahead anyway. Courage helps you pursue your dreams, even when you're unsure if everything will turn out well. When you're courageous, challenges don't become burdens, but exciting opportunities for growth. Every time you act courageously, you gain more confidence in yourself and remind yourself that you can achieve your dreams. Another secret to a great life is patience. In a world where many people expect quick results, Stoicism shows us that true growth takes time. Patience helps you stay calm and keep going, even if it takes longer than you'd like. It gives you the ability to persevere with slow progress without losing heart. Patience strengthens your inner calm and helps you better handle life's ups and downs. When you are patient, you will learn that it's not just about the destination, but also about the journey you take along the way. An extraordinary life also means constantly learning. Stoicism fosters curiosity and the joy of continuous learning. If you see every day as an opportunity to grow, you will constantly improve and understand more. This love of learning makes life exciting because you are always discovering something new. Every new insight and every new piece of knowledge enriches your life and makes your experiences more diverse and exciting. Another Stoic principle is to let go of the need to control everything. While goals give you direction, Stoicism teaches that your happiness shouldn't depend on achieving a certain outcome. Letting go means you can pursue your dreams without constantly worrying about whether or not you'll succeed. This attitude helps you enjoy the process and not focus solely on the end result. It means doing your best and focusing on what you can do without worrying too much about the outcome. This attitude allows you to feel free and calm because you know that success lies not only in the outcome, but also in the effort you put in. Self-knowledge is also an important component of an extraordinary life. When you understand who you truly are, what you're capable of, what's important to you, and what you want to achieve, you have a strong foundation for your life. Self-knowledge helps you make decisions that are good for you and that fit your needs. This makes your life feel full of meaning and clarity. It also helps you identify goals that truly suit you and prevents you from striving for things that aren't actually important to you. By understanding yourself better, you will continually grow and develop. Another principle of Stoicism is learning to let go of things that no longer serve you. We often cling to things like old disappointments, unhealthy relationships, or things that don't truly make us happy. Stoicism shows us that letting go lifts these burdens and gives us freedom. When you let go of things that are no longer useful to you, you make room for the things that truly matter. Letting go doesn't mean losing something, but rather creating more space for what you truly care about. This ability brings you peace and makes your life simpler and more focused. Living an extraordinary life also means being compassionate. Stoic wisdom reminds us that we are all connected, even if we take different paths. By being kind and understanding, you build a life that benefits not only you, but others as well. Compassion makes your life stronger, not weaker, because it reminds you that everyone has their own struggles. It helps you create deeper connections with others and makes life's journey more worthwhile for everyone around you. If you follow the Stoic principles, you can live a truly fulfilling life, one full of meaning, strength, and contentment. Each of the principles brings you closer to what you truly desire. It's not about quick wins, but about a life that feels complete and whole. When you practice self-control, courage, honesty, and gratitude, you create a life that isn't great by chance, but because you consciously chose it. You will live the life that reflects who you truly are and what you care about. Now that you've learned some Stoic ideas for a fulfilling life, it's time to learn how to develop a calm and balanced mind. In a world where there's always a lot of noise and stress, it's especially important to remain calm. Stoicism shows you how to calm your mind to better cope with stress and focus. A calm mind doesn't mean there are no difficulties. Rather, it means you can face every challenge with a clear head, strength, and inner peace. These methods will not only help you find inner peace, but also navigate life's ups and downs with a clear perspective. This will make everything you experience more valuable and fulfilling. One simple way to calm your mind is to consciously notice your thoughts. Our thoughts come and go, sometimes loud and chaotic, sometimes quiet and calm, and each thought influences how we feel. When you learn to observe your thoughts without immediately reacting to them, you will take control of your mind. You can identify negative or anxious thoughts and let them go instead of holding on to them. By taking the time to observe your thoughts, you create distance between what you think and what you do. This allows you to react calmly and thoughtfully instead of panicking or becoming angry. A key strategy in Stoicism is to focus on what you can actually control. Much stress often arises from trying to influence things we can't change, like other people's behavior, unforeseeable events, or the passage of time. Stoicism shows us that we should focus our energy on what we can control, our own thoughts, reactions, and actions. When you adopt this perspective, not only will stress decrease, but you'll also feel stronger and more peaceful. You can accept that some things are simply out of your control and don't have to constantly try to control everything. Instead, you can focus your energy on self-development, acting responsibly, and making wise choices in the areas where you have influence. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, your mind becomes freer, clearer, and more focused. It's like lifting a heavy burden and realizing that by paying attention to what you can do, you can make your life better. Daily reflection is another valuable way to calm your mind. Taking a few minutes each day to reflect on your thoughts, behavior, and the things you've experienced helps you organize your feelings and find clarity. Through this practice, you gain a balanced perspective on what's happened without being guided by quick emotions or hasty judgments. You'll recognize how your day went, see patterns, and learn from your actions. It's like briefly pressing pause in your hectic life to breathe and sort everything out. Over time, This habit will help you live more intentionally and approach each day with a clearer purpose. This will help you better understand what's truly important to you and make it easier to avoid being distracted by unnecessary worries. Choosing simplicity is another powerful Stoic method for calming the mind. In today's world, which constantly strives for more things, more experiences, more success, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. This pursuit of more can leave us feeling mentally exhausted from juggling many wants and needs. However, choosing simplicity allows you to declutter your mind and environment, creating more space for inner peace. This doesn't mean giving up on your goals or passions. Rather, it's about focusing on what truly adds value to your life. Simplifying your environment, reducing unnecessary obligations, and letting go of mental baggage allows you to channel your energy toward the things that truly matter to you. Each moment becomes an opportunity to focus on what fulfills you, rather than being driven by distractions. Simplicity means making conscious choices, whether that's simplifying your daily routine or letting go of things that don't align with your values. In this way, you create a clear and calm space for your mind, where peace and clarity can flourish. Practicing gratitude is another helpful tool for maintaining a positive and calm attitude. When we focus solely on what we don't have or what we wish were different, our minds often feel restless. We are plagued by desires and frustrations. Gratitude helps us shift our focus from what is missing to what is already present in our lives. It allows us to appreciate the simple things and all the good that we often overlook. When you practice gratitude daily, you develop an attitude that recognizes all that is good, no matter how big or small it is. Gratitude helps you connect with what you have and turns even the most mundane moments into sources of joy. It doesn't mean that there won't be difficult times, but it helps you place them in the bigger picture of everything that is going well in your life. Through this shift in perspective, your mind becomes stronger, and you find more peace because you can stay in the present. When you appreciate the little things, you'll find there's always something to be thankful for, even on the tougher days. Silence is another powerful way to calm your mind. In a world constantly surrounded by noise and distractions, whether from cell phones, school, or the many things we have to do, silence is a precious gift. When you intentionally set aside time for silence, you give your mind a break from the constant noise and the many thoughts that occupy us. In silence, you can reconnect with yourself and find moments of clarity and insight. This stillness allows you to hear your own thoughts more clearly and helps you better understand your feelings. In such quiet moments, you can collect yourself, reflect, and recharge. Silence is not empty. It is full of possibility. It gives your mind the space to collect itself and refocus. In quiet, you can find new ideas that would easily get lost in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. Practicing acceptance is another important Stoic way to maintain your inner peace. Much of what makes us anxious comes from fighting things we cannot change. Perhaps it's situations, feelings, or events that aren't going the way we want them to. When we fight what is, we create unnecessary stress and inner conflict. Acceptance doesn't mean simply taking it for granted. Rather, it means accepting things as they are, without demanding that they be different. We let go of what is beyond our control. This attitude frees us from constantly trying to change everything that opposes us and helps us focus on how we can respond. Acceptance allows us to dance with the waves of life without always fighting them. This allows you to face challenges with an open and calm heart, knowing that you can grow each day, no matter what comes your way. Focusing on the moment is one of the best ways to achieve a calm mind. Many of us often dwell on the future or regret things from the past. Our thoughts constantly jump between what might come and what has already happened. Stoicism teaches us to embrace the present moment and focus entirely on what is happening now. When you bring your attention to the moment, you free yourself from the burden of time. Every moment becomes an opportunity to experience life to its fullest, without constantly thinking about the past or the future. This presence creates clarity because you are no longer distracted by worries or old memories. Living in the here and now means being deeply connected to life itself and enjoying the beauty of the moment. The present is all we truly have, and when we focus on it, we can find inner peace and fulfillment that cannot be taken away from us by the past or the future. With these Stoicism exercises, you'll build a strong and calm mind that will help you face challenges with clarity and determination. Each of these practices supports you in finding inner peace and remembering that true serenity lies not in avoiding life, but in facing it with calm and self-control. Stoicism helps us approach life's unpredictable events with confidence and develop a clear and focused mind that can withstand difficult times. This calm isn't a short-term escape, but a profound, lasting way of living that helps you open yourself to life with clarity, depth, and peace. With a calm and focused mind, the next step on your path to a fulfilling life is to identify your priorities and make the most of every moment. The Stoics remind us that time is our most precious resource. It's limited, and once it's gone, we can't get it back. To live a good life, we must free ourselves from distractions, live intentionally, and turn our attention to what truly matters. The Stoic approach gives us valuable guidance on how to focus our energy on what matters and ensure that every action aligns with our purpose and values. By following these principles, you will pursue your goals with unwavering focus and live a life driven not by short-term distractions, but by deep, meaningful intentions. The first important rule for setting priorities is to first become clear about what is truly important to you. Many people simply drift along doing what they do without knowing exactly what means the most to them. They often chase after small desires or distractions and forget to think about what they really want from life. Stoicism helps us reflect deeply on our true values and goals in life. When you understand your priorities, you know exactly where you want to put your energy. This helps you avoid being distracted by insignificant things and instead do what brings you true joy and fulfillment. When you pay attention every day to what is truly important to you, your life becomes a journey toward your greatest dreams and values. Another important rule is to reduce distractions. These days, there are so many things that constantly distract us. Messages on our phones, notifications, or the many small tasks that keep us busy. The Stoics showed us the importance of concentrating on one thing at a time. If you focus entirely on one task without being disturbed by outside noises or distractions, you can achieve much more. To avoid distractions, you need discipline. This means consciously giving up things that don't help you achieve your goals. This creates space for you to devote yourself to the important things and not waste your time on things that only demand your attention for a short time. Self-discipline is also very important. Discipline doesn't mean not having fun, but rather learning to make choices that will help you in the long run. The Stoics believe that self-control is the key to achieving what we truly want. It helps you resist temptations that might derail you. You practice self-discipline every day by choosing things that move you closer to your big goals, rather than quick, fleeting pleasures. Every time you choose discipline, you remind yourself that true freedom lies in consciously choosing your own path and not simply giving in to short-term desires. Another rule is to keep going, even if you haven't reached your ultimate goal yet. People often get discouraged because the goals seem so big and the path so long. Stoicism teaches us that even small steps are valuable. Instead of waiting for perfection, it's about simply keeping going and taking steady action. Every small step brings you closer to your goal. This mindset helps you remain patient and appreciate the entire journey as much as the destination. Every bit of progress is important and makes achieving your dreams tangible and possible. It's also important to live with a sense of urgency and understand that our time is limited. The Stoics remind us that every day is an opportunity to move closer to our goals. Living with urgency doesn't mean acting hastily, but rather valuing time and using it wisely. When you live with a sense of urgency, you'll be less distracted by unnecessary things and make the decisions that truly matter to you. This sense of using time consciously makes life exciting and moves you further along your path every day. Living with urgency helps you seize the moment and remember that now is the right time to act. Another important Stoic rule is building resilience. There will always be difficulties on the path to meaningful goals, but resilience helps you keep going, even when things don't go your way. Resilience doesn't mean that you don't have problems, but rather that you remain strong and respond flexibly. The Stoics teach us to see challenges as part of the path and not as obstacles. Through resilience, you can overcome difficult times and remain true to your goal no matter what happens. The Stoics also emphasize that it's better to pursue a meaningful purpose than to chase short-term pleasures. Many distractions arise when we only seek quick pleasures that don't actually move us forward. When you choose a higher purpose, you focus on actions that move you closer to your goals instead of getting distracted by small pleasures. This doesn't mean you're not allowed to have joy, but rather that you find joy in things that truly move you forward. A purposeful life adds depth and fulfillment to your life and shows you that true happiness lies in doing what's truly important to you rather than simply striving for quick short-term pleasures. Another important point is to regularly reflect on your progress. Taking time to reflect on how far you've come will help you continue on your path. You'll recognize what's going well and where you still need to work harder. This reflection helps you see things more clearly and gives you a reason to be proud of what you've accomplished. By being aware of how much you've already accomplished, you stay motivated and constantly improve on your path. It helps you stay focused and ensure that each day brings you closer to your goal. If you follow these Stoic principles, you'll live a life where you truly value your time and your journey. Each of these principles will help you focus on what truly matters and use each moment to create a meaningful and fulfilling journey. When you know what's truly important to you, you'll live a life of clarity and purpose, where you keep moving forward and don't let minor distractions derail you. Once you've focused on your goals and are determined to make the most of each moment, the next step is to master your mind. Stoicism teaches us that a calm and balanced mind is a very powerful tool for overcoming life's challenges. Everyone has emotions, but if you're not careful, they can overwhelm you and make it difficult to think clearly. Mastering your mind doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means understanding them and directing them so that they help you instead of holding you back. The Stoics show you how to stay calm and clear, no matter what's going on around you. An important part of taking control of your mind is learning to notice your feelings without immediately reacting to them. Feelings often come on quickly and intensely, and if you react immediately, you could do something that doesn't align with your values. By simply noticing your feelings without immediately reacting, you create a moment in which you can reflect on how best to act. This short exercise gives you control over your emotions and helps you realize that while you have feelings, they don't have to dictate your actions. With this skill, you can approach life with a calm mind and consciously choose how you want to respond. Another very helpful principle is letting go. Sometimes strong emotions get to us because we cling too tightly to things, people, or certain outcomes. Stoicism teaches us to detach ourselves from the things we can't control and instead focus on what we can truly influence, our thoughts and actions. Letting go doesn't mean that we don't care what happens, but rather that we stop trying to control things that are beyond our control. This makes us feel less anxious and able to respond to challenges with more serenity. When we let go of things, we make room for a flexible and strong mind that is ready to handle whatever comes our way. Another important rule in Stoicism is to trust reason more than quick reactions. Emotions can sometimes make things seem much bigger or more frightening than they really are. The Stoics advise us to always use our reason and calmly consider situations. When you approach things with reason, you see reality more clearly and not just what your emotions are telling you at the time. This helps you act thoughtfully and make decisions that truly align with your values. Reason gives you security because you know you're acting correctly and aren't just driven by your feelings. Another important principle of Stoic wisdom is accepting the transience of life. Much of our emotional turmoil arises when we resist change or cling to things that simply won't last. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, the end of a special moment, or changing something in your life, change is a part of life. When you accept that everything in life is temporary, you'll be better able to handle happiness and sadness without becoming too attached to what passes. This acceptance doesn't mean you should resign yourself to bad experiences. Rather, it means understanding that life is a series of moments, each unique and temporary. When you let go of resistance to these changes, you allow yourself to live in the flow of life and experience its different stages with calmness and mindfulness. Instead of fearing the inevitable, you learn to live fully in each moment, appreciating what you have and seeing the experience as part of your journey. It's important to find inner peace instead of constantly seeking external validation. Sometimes, we can be driven by the desire for praise or recognition from others, be it friends, family, or colleagues. But seeking external validation often leads to restlessness and doubt. Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from within, not from the opinions of others. When you begin to value yourself and trust your own judgment more, you'll develop a strong confidence in yourself that won't waver easily. You'll stop basing your self-worth on what others think of you. This frees you from the constant pursuit of praise and the attempt to avoid criticism. This freedom helps you live authentically and make choices that are in line with your true self. Your inner peace comes from your own values, not from the fluid opinions of the people around you. Learning patience is another important step in gaining control of your mind. Many of our emotional challenges stem from being impatient, especially when things don't go the way we want. It can be frustrating when things go slower than expected, or when time seems to pass faster and faster. Patience doesn't mean doing nothing. It means trusting that everything will happen at the right time. When you develop patience, you take the pressure and constant rush out of your life and approach everything with a calm and open attitude. You understand that the journey is just as important as the destination. Patience helps you stay calm, reduce anxiety, and act level-headedly in difficult situations. With patience, you can overcome life's challenges without losing your inner peace. Practicing gratitude is another valuable exercise for managing your emotions. Gratitude changes your perspective on life by making you appreciate what you already have instead of focusing solely on what you lack. Especially in difficult moments, it can be easy to feel like you're missing something or dissatisfied. However, when you practice gratitude, you learn to recognize the good in every moment, even in the small things. By focusing on the positive in your life, whether it's a good friendship, a great opportunity, or a moment of peace, you strengthen your mind and are less influenced by negative feelings. Gratitude helps you maintain a balanced perspective and reminds you that there is always something to be thankful for. This attitude ensures that you find peace in the moment and are not constantly searching for something you are missing. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring challenges, but rather acknowledging life's blessings, even when the path is difficult. When you regularly practice gratitude, you find stability and can live life with more peace and appreciation. Stoicism also emphasizes the importance of self-reflection. Taking time to reflect on your thoughts, feelings, and actions can help you learn a lot about yourself. This reflection helps you understand why you react in certain ways and what patterns you may be repeating over and over again. Self-reflection isn't about criticizing yourself, it's about gaining clarity. By regularly reflecting on your experiences, you'll recognize when you may have acted too impulsively or let your emotions influence your decisions. This insight helps you make wiser decisions and avoid acting on instinct. Self-reflection is like a mirror to your inner self. It shows you who you are, what you truly value, and where you can grow. This practice builds your emotional resilience because you better understand your feelings and can make calmer decisions. If you regularly take time for this reflection, you will live a life of clarity and intention, where your actions are determined by thoughtful action rather than impulsive reactions. As you apply these Stoic principles to your life, you will gain increasing understanding and control over your emotions and mind. Each of these principles will help you develop greater calm, resilience, and clarity, allowing you to navigate life's ups and downs with serenity. Instead of allowing your emotions to overwhelm you, you will learn to navigate them and respond to everything with a calm and purposeful attitude. You will live with a clear mind and a strong sense of self, unaffected by the opinions of others or external circumstances. As you continue down this path, you will find that you are no longer controlled by your emotions, but rather that you are in control of them and are calm, purposeful, and strong in every moment. In addition to the important Stoic principles, there is another powerful yet subtle method: the art of silence. Silence doesn't just mean keeping quiet. It's a valuable technique for better controlling one's emotions, especially in moments when we are confronted with criticism, arguments, or provocations. Silence can be one of the most powerful responses. It doesn't show that we are weak or shirking, but rather that we are in control of our reactions. When you remain silent, you take the time to reflect on your thoughts and decide what you want to do or say before reacting. This decision allows you to act calmly and clearly instead of being guided by your emotions. In Stoicism, silence is considered a sign of inner strength. It shows that your inner peace is not easily shaken. It is a sign that you are acting wisely and thoughtfully. An important part of Stoic silence is understanding the power of restraint. Often we want to react immediately, whether to defend ourselves, explain something, or vent our anger. But Stoicism teaches us that it is often much more powerful to remain silent. When you hold back and don't speak immediately, you retain control of the situation and decide when and how you want to engage. This restraint shows others that you are not easily disturbed and helps them reflect on their own behavior. When you choose silence, you demonstrate that your peace is unshakable and that you are not fazed by external factors. Another important aspect of silence is choosing carefully when and what you say. When you decide to speak, do so thoughtfully and intentionally. Silence gives you the opportunity to reflect on what's truly important and what you really want to say. This makes your communication stronger and more impactful because your words don't come quickly or without consideration. People listen more when they know you've chosen your words carefully, not hastily. Silence makes your words meaningful because they're well considered and not spur of the moment. Silence also gives others the opportunity to reveal themselves. If you don't respond immediately, they have a chance to share their thoughts. People often reveal more about their intentions when they have the space to find their own words. This silent observation helps you better understand the situation without immediately putting yourself front and center. Instead of speaking immediately, you can listen and observe, which helps you gain more clarity before you react. Another benefit of silence is that it helps you process your own feelings. If you're in a difficult or highly emotional situation, silence can give you the time you need to reflect before acting. You then have the opportunity to consider your reactions and decide how to respond to the situation without acting impulsively. Silence helps you maintain your inner calm, allowing you to respond thoughtfully and clearly, rather than being overwhelmed by your emotions. This technique not only protects your own emotional balance, but often also allows others to think about how they behave and what they say. Another important aspect of silence in Stoicism is that it helps you overlook small conflicts. Often, arguments arise from small things, misunderstandings, careless words, or minor disagreements. If you choose not to engage, these conflicts often quickly lose their significance. Your silence sends a clear message that you don't want to waste your energy on such issues and shows others that their attempt to start an argument isn't resonating with you. This silence isn't a sign of disinterest or indifference, rather, it shows that you're choosing your inner peace. When others try to draw you into their arguments, your silence will often act as a mirror, showing them that their behavior is inappropriate. You may quickly realize that the words or actions of others cannot affect you, and this realization alone can often be enough to ease the tension. Choosing silence creates a quiet strength, an inner sense of security that shows that small provocations cannot unsettle you. Silence also helps you conserve your energy. Participating in any discussion or argument can be very exhausting and often leads to unnecessary stress without resolving anything. By practicing silence, you conserve your mental and emotional energy and can use it for the things that truly matter, like your goals and values. This way of managing energy is not only smart but also helps you realize that not every situation is worth dealing with. Every time you choose silence, you strengthen your focus and create a clear head to do what truly brings meaning and joy to your life. Silence then becomes a sign of inner strength, a calm security that comes without words. Practicing silence also strengthens your self-respect. When you resist the urge to respond to provocations or insults, you demonstrate that your peace and dignity are more important than the opinions of others. This self-respect sets a boundary, a silent but strong sign that you will not allow external words or actions to influence your inner state. Silence thus becomes an expression of your self-worth, a reminder that you adhere to a high standard of dignity and decorum, and do not allow yourself to be drawn into unnecessary conflict. This way of respecting yourself often has a profound impact on others, causing them to reconsider their own behavior. They will realize that your silence is not a weakness, but a sign of self-confidence and inner strength, a strength that is not swayed by the words or opinions of others. Choosing to remain silent also helps you develop patience, especially in moments when you feel tempted to react immediately. Silence teaches you to be patient and to trust time, allowing the true nature of situations and intentions to reveal themselves. This patience gives you a chance to step back and see things more clearly without jumping to judgment. When you wait before reacting, you often discover things you might have missed had you acted immediately. This broader perspective helps you respond more calmly and thoughtfully, knowing that quick reactions are often driven by limited or emotional viewpoints. When you practice this patience, others also sense this shift and realize that your silence doesn't indicate disinterest, but depth. This ability to wait and observe conveys a calm, controlled presence that chooses its actions carefully and doesn't act hastily. Another great benefit of silence in Stoicism is how it builds confidence in yourself. When you choose to remain silent rather than react immediately, you show yourself that you are in control of your impulses, that you don't have to simply give in to your feelings or urges. This ability to pause before speaking or acting builds your confidence. Each time you resist the urge to react impulsively, you affirm your ability to control your behavior and build solid confidence in yourself. Over time, this confidence grows, and you will be able to handle any challenge or conflict calmly and confidently. The silence of Stoicism gives you the confidence to face the world with quiet strength, knowing that you can always maintain your inner calm. Every moment of silence strengthens this confidence and reminds you that you are in control of your reactions and that your serenity is a sign of your inner wisdom. When you consciously practice silence, an aura of mystery and power develops around you. If you don't explain everything immediately with words, others will wonder what lies behind your quiet power. This feeling of mystery can be very impressive and causes others to pause and reflect on their own words or actions. When you hold back so as not to respond immediately, you give others space to consider the power behind your silence. This often leads them to act more thoughtfully. This quiet power shows that true strength doesn't have to be loudly displayed or asserted. It is an inner strength that always remains no matter what. In this way, silence becomes a profound and powerful tool that helps others perceive you differently. When you practice Stoic silence, you build a life of peace, wisdom, and inner strength. Silence, when used wisely, is a powerful tool for personal growth. It helps you conserve your energy, protect your integrity, and let your character speak for itself. Silence isn't about avoiding conflict or withdrawing from the world. It's about choosing the moments when your voice is truly needed and quietly letting the rest happen. Thus, Stoic silence becomes an expression of self-mastery and a way to face the world with calm, clarity, and inner strength. Now that you've learned about the art of silence and the strength it offers, you might wonder how Stoicism can also be a source of genuine enthusiasm, especially when life seems difficult and overwhelming. We all experience times when our energy wanes, we feel discouraged, and life's challenges are particularly great. In such moments, Stoicism offers a helpful way to rediscover strength and joy, even when everything seems against us. Stoicism isn't just a philosophy of getting along, but contains profound teachings that help us awaken a genuine enthusiasm for life. When everything seems difficult, Stoic wisdom offers us tools to find deeper meaning and greater joy in life, even in difficult times. One of the most powerful Stoic practices that can help spark enthusiasm is gratitude. When life seems difficult or overwhelming, gratitude has the wonderful ability to shift our perspective. It helps us focus not only on what we don't have, but also on all the good that is already in our lives. Gratitude reminds us of the simple and valuable things we often overlook. It shows us how to find joy in small moments and brings light into our lives, even when everything seems gray. This isn't about ignoring our problems or pretending everything is perfect. It's about focusing on what we currently have. Gratitude creates an inner sense of contentment and peace, no matter what's happening outside. When you focus on gratitude, your enthusiasm grows because you're appreciating what you have and not waiting for something else to come along. This practice connects you to the richness of the present moment and creates inner happiness. Another important Stoicism tip for maintaining enthusiasm is to focus on the present moment. We are often distracted by the past or the future. We brood over things that are already over or worry about what might come. But the Stoics say that true happiness lies in living in the moment and immersing ourselves completely in the here and now. When we focus on what is right now, thoughts of the past and worries about the future lose their power. We become more open to everything each moment has to offer. When you engage with the present, you realize that the best experiences are not to be found in the past or the future, but right here and now. Every day becomes an opportunity to experience new things, to learn, and to enjoy life in all its beauty. By embracing the moment, you ignite an enthusiasm that comes entirely from the here and now. Another key Stoic idea for finding enthusiasm is acceptance. We often lose our joy when we fight against things we can't change, but the Stoics teach us that true strength and calm come from accepting things as they are. This doesn't mean resigning ourselves to difficulties, but rather embracing reality without letting it drag us down. Acceptance takes the pressure off us and saves our energy for the things we can truly influence. When you accept what is, you open the space for new enthusiasm. You no longer fight against what you can't change, but instead focus your energy on making the most of the moment, no matter how challenging it may be. Setting goals that truly matter to you is another key way to spark enthusiasm. The Stoics knew the importance of having a goal in mind that gives us purpose. When we set goals that align with our values and dreams, life becomes more meaningful and exciting. Goals provide direction and a reason why we get up each day with joy and energy. When you choose goals that align with your true self, your life becomes challenging yet rewarding. These goals become milestones along your journey, continually giving you new motivation to keep going. As you pursue your purpose, you'll find that your enthusiasm not only stays but grows stronger with each step. As you move toward living your fulfilling life, self-compassion is also an important lesson. When our enthusiasm wanes, we often tend to criticize ourselves and wonder if we're not doing enough. But the Stoics remind us to be kind to ourselves and understand that growth is a journey, one that isn't always straightforward. When you treat yourself lovingly, you create an inner voice that helps you keep going instead of bringing you down. Self-compassion brings calm to your heart and reminds you that you are a human being who is learning and growing. When you are kind to yourself, you help yourself stay motivated and keep striving to improve. Another important Stoic concept is resilience, the ability to keep getting up, even when things get difficult. Life always brings challenges, but resilience gives us the strength to deal with them. When you build resilience, you begin to see difficulties as opportunities for personal growth rather than reasons to give up. This ability to not give up makes you strong. It reminds you that you can handle anything you face in life. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to prove your strength, to get up, and to move on with renewed energy. Resilience builds your self-confidence and shows you that you can overcome anything you face. It leads you to a life filled with meaning, not driven by fear. Kindness to others is also a wonderful way to bring more enthusiasm into your life. Stoicism reminds us that we are all connected. When you help or be kind to someone else, you're not only doing something good for them, but also for yourself. It makes you happy and fulfilled because you know you are making the world a little bit better. Acts of kindness often bring unexpected happiness and show you that enthusiasm grows when you share it. Every loving act strengthens your connection with others and brings more meaning to your everyday life. It transforms ordinary days into special moments and fills you with warmth and joy. Another principle of Stoicism that can restore enthusiasm is living simply. In a world full of distractions and constantly new desires, Stoicism shows us the importance of focusing on what matters most. When you choose a simpler life, you'll find more balance and be able to direct your energy toward what truly makes you happy. Simplicity reduces stress and clears the mental clutter that often dampens our enthusiasm. Living simply helps you understand that true joy lies not in always having more, but in appreciating what you already possess. This gratitude for what you have fills you with lasting enthusiasm and brings peace and contentment every day. Stoicism also teaches us the importance of setting clear boundaries. When you feel overwhelmed by too many things at once, it's often because your attention is being pulled in all sorts of directions. By setting boundaries, you protect your time and energy, ensuring you use them for what matters most. These boundaries help you live a life that is clear and purposeful. They remind you that your enthusiasm grows when you prioritize what truly matters to you. Every boundary you set shows that you respect yourself and live your life with intention, rather than simply getting things done. This focus energizes you and increases your enthusiasm because you're living your life according to your own values. Another important lesson is to accept challenges. The Stoics didn't see challenges as problems, but as opportunities to become stronger. When you face difficult situations, you train your mind to see them as opportunities to improve and grow. This mindset helps you view obstacles not as frustrating disruptions, but as incentives to become better. When you embrace challenges, your life feels like an exciting adventure, full of opportunities and new possibilities. This shift in perspective allows your enthusiasm to grow because you see each challenge as an opportunity to become stronger and wiser. Patience is also an important skill. Enthusiasm can wane if something doesn't work out right away, but Stoicism teaches us to trust the process. Patience helps you stay focused and motivated, even when the results aren't immediately visible. It gives you inner peace because it shows you that change takes time and every step along the way is valuable. Patience allows enthusiasm to grow because you focus on the journey itself and not just the outcome. It creates a fulfilling life in which you recognize the value of every moment. It's also important to take time to reflect on life. When you regularly reflect on what you've experienced, what you've learned, and how you've developed, you'll realize how far you've come. This reflection helps you appreciate the value of each day and makes your life seem more meaningful and intentional. When you reflect regularly, you stay connected to your sense of fulfillment and recognize that every moment offers you new lessons. This perspective allows your enthusiasm to grow because you see your journey as one of growth and meaning, not just a list of to-dos. Through all these Stoic lessons, enthusiasm becomes a natural part of your life, a force that helps you keep going even in difficult times. Each of these teachings contributes to creating a life that feels strong, balanced, and full of joy. When you practice gratitude, patience, and inner strength, you create an attitude that finds beauty and meaning in every moment. A life that fulfills you and motivates you to approach each day with renewed enthusiasm. Stoicism not only changes how we live, but also opens us to a deeper power that shows us how to relax and go with the flow of life. In a world that often pushes us to strive ever further, Stoicism teaches us the importance of finding inner peace to achieve what we truly desire. Relaxing doesn't mean doing nothing. It means finding rest in the moment, detaching from the outcome, and trusting that the journey will lead us to our goals. When you relax and go with the flow of life, you attract everything you desire and live in a way that brings you true happiness and joy. The first lesson of Stoicism, which helps you achieve your goals through relaxation, is acceptance of life. When you embrace life as it is, rather than wishing it were different, you open yourself to the richness of the present moment. Acceptance brings deep peace and helps you let go of the stress created by unmet expectations. When you accept what you cannot change, you focus on what you can influence, creating a life that is calm and open. This acceptance allows you to get what you desire without constantly fighting and allows your life to naturally align with your goals. Letting go is an important lesson that helps us live more freely. Many people believe that their happiness depends only on achieving certain things. But Stoicism shows us that we can pursue our goals without clinging too tightly to them. Letting go doesn't mean you stop working on your goals. It means trusting the path and knowing that the outcome isn't the most important thing. When you let go of the idea that you absolutely have to achieve a certain goal, you can enjoy the journey. You'll realize that your happiness doesn't depend on a single moment, but can be found all around you. This freedom makes it easier for you to live your dreams without letting fears or expectations hold you back. Gratitude is also a key to more peace and relaxation in life. When you focus on what you already have, your friends, your family, the beautiful moments in life, you realize how much you already possess. Gratitude helps you recognize the richness of your life, even if it may not seem that way on the outside. It shows you that true fulfillment lies not in always wanting more, but in what you already have. When you are grateful, you create a sense of contentment that doesn't depend on new things. You'll find that more good things come into your life because you are open and not constantly striving for something else. Gratitude gives you inner peace and helps you appreciate life as it is. Stoic patience also plays a major role in being calm and patient. In our fast-paced world, we often want to see results immediately. This impatience can frustrate and stress us out, but patience helps us understand that things don't always have to happen quickly. It shows us that things need their own time to grow and develop. Instead of forcing something to happen immediately, we learn to trust in life's natural rhythm and relax over time. Patience gives us the opportunity to remain calm and know that everything will work out in its own time. It helps us keep a clear head and not look for quick fixes. Patience makes us strong because we calmly surrender to life and believe that it will bring us the right things. Another key point is simplicity. Our world is full of distractions and the desire for more and more, which often overwhelms us. But when we choose simplicity, we remember what's truly important. Simplicity doesn't mean we have to have less, but rather that we focus on the things that truly make us happy. When we rid ourselves of unnecessary clutter, we create space for clarity and can direct our energy to what matters most. Living a simple life helps us feel less stressed and shows us that true happiness lies not in excess, but in appreciating simple things. When we choose simplicity, we bring more joy and peace into our lives. Trusting in the natural flow of life is also very important for living in peace. We often try to control everything, plan every detail, and determine what should happen next. But this desire for control only leads to stress and frustration. Stoicism teaches us that it is also important to trust life. Often life brings us exactly what we need, but not always in the way we expect. When we trust the flow of life, we can relax and let things happen without constantly worrying about the outcome. We learn to surrender to the process and be open to new opportunities, no matter how they present themselves. When we have faith that everything has its right time, we feel calmer and can handle whatever comes our way. Intentional living is an important lesson for a calm and fulfilling life. It means starting each day with a clear purpose and ensuring that what you do aligns with your values and long-term dreams. When you live intentionally, you give your life structure and don't get distracted by everything happening around you. Every small action becomes a step in the right direction. You're no longer trapped by rash decisions or momentary desires, but instead, focus on what truly matters to you. When you live intentionally, you feel that your life is purposeful and meaningful. By listening to your deepest desires and living in alignment with them, you attract people and opportunities that help you along the way. Forgiveness is a powerful tool for inner peace. When you hold on to anger or pain from the past, you block new, good things from coming into your life. Stoicism teaches us that forgiveness is important for ourselves, not just for others. Forgiving doesn't mean condoning bad things, but choosing to let go of the emotional baggage those things burden you. When you forgive, you can break free from the past and make room for new, beautiful experiences. This frees you to move forward and enjoy life without the burden of old wounds. Forgiveness brings an inner peace that allows you to live a life full of joy and new opportunities. Setting boundaries is also important for living a fulfilling life. In today's world, many people often feel overwhelmed by doing too many things at once and forget about themselves in the process. Boundaries help us realize that we should be using our time and energy on the things that really matter to us. When you set healthy boundaries, you protect yourself and make room for what helps you most. This doesn't mean you're being selfish. It means you're respecting yourself and looking out for your own well-being. Saying no to things that don't serve you well allows you to focus on what truly makes you happy and supports your goals. Your life will become clearer and calmer, and you'll direct your energy toward what really matters to you. Resilience, the ability to bounce back after difficult times, is an important lesson. Life continually presents us with challenges. Resilience doesn't mean avoiding difficulties, but rather facing them with strength and composure. When you're resilient, you can remain calm even when things go wrong. You don't see obstacles as insurmountable, but as opportunities to learn. Every challenge helps you become stronger, and you can look forward with confidence. Resilience lets you know that you can overcome anything that comes your way. When you develop this inner strength, you'll remain calm no matter how difficult the situation, and you'll find that your courage attracts success and good opportunities. Self-care is also very important for a peaceful life. It's about taking care of yourself and making sure you're healthy and happy. When you take care of yourself, you create a strong foundation for everything you want to achieve. Self-care doesn't mean only thinking about yourself. It means making sure you have enough energy to pursue your goals. Taking time for relaxation shows that you're paying attention to your own well-being. This helps you maintain inner peace and attract positivity into your life. You'll find that by taking care of yourself, you not only become stronger, but also better able to help others. Self-confidence is also an important step toward a fulfilling life. When you know what's truly important to you, your strengths and your desires, you make decisions that suit you. This self-knowledge leads to a life that feels good because you're not obsessing over things that don't suit you. As you understand more and more about yourself, you can shape your life to align with your values. This self-knowledge helps you attract what truly suits you and leads to a life full of joy and contentment. Living with curiosity helps you stay calm and open. Many people go through life with fixed ideas about what they want to happen. When things turn out differently, they are often disappointed. But when you are curious, you see life as an exciting adventure, something to discover, not just a race to reach a goal. Curiosity helps reduce frustration because it shows us that every experience is valuable, even if it doesn't match what we imagined. Curiosity keeps you open to new opportunities and ensures that you experience life with excitement and joy. This openness brings you new experiences that help you grow and makes the journey exciting and full of discovery. Humility helps you relax and naturally attract good things. Many people often feel pressured to prove themselves to others in order to gain recognition. But Stoicism teaches that humility frees us from this pressure and reminds us that our worth doesn't depend on what others think. When you're humble, you focus on improving yourself rather than trying to impress others. Humility brings inner peace because you're no longer trying to prove yourself. Instead, you live with a calm confidence. This way of living attracts the right things into your life and helps you live an authentic and fulfilling life. With these Stoic lessons, life becomes simpler and it becomes easier to get everything you desire. Each lesson helps you develop a mindset that finds peace in the moment, recognizes strength in simplicity, and feels joy in every step you take. When you embrace life, practice gratitude, and demonstrate resilience, you create a life that feels easy and natural, a life that is aligned with what you truly want. These lessons show you how to live more fully without having to force anything, helping you create a peaceful and fulfilling life. In just 3 months, you can change your life. By following Stoicism, you'll not only change your habits, but also how you see the world. You'll learn to be strong and independent, and to live in harmony with yourself. You'll realize that you don't need the approval of others, but rather focus on gratitude and self-discipline. With every small step, you'll build a life guided by a clear purpose, not by your feelings or external pressure. This journey is about more than just self-improvement. It's about reclaiming your power, staying true to yourself, and becoming the best version of yourself. As you grow, this change will radiate from within, creating a strength that doesn't depend on the approval of others. You'll find a peace that doesn't waver, and a confidence that's built on following your true path. If you're ready to embark on this journey, share with us in the comments what you'd like to change in the next 3 months. We're curious to hear your thoughts, goals, and dreams, And if you enjoyed this guide, don't forget to subscribe. Join a community focused on growing, staying strong, and becoming the best version of ourselves one step at a time. Let's achieve something great together.